Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kings and queens. How are you today? Happy Monday, gang. Happy Monday. I hope everyone's weekend was grand, that you did a lot of nothing or were productive, whatever your choice, right? Whatever your pleasure. And I'm glad to see all of you. Corwin Chelway, nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. It's always nice to see new Twitch viewers, right? I get a lot of people on YouTube, but not so many on Twitch. Crazy. It was reversed for a while, right? Like when I first started on YouTube, I had most of my calling was on Twitch, but had a few YouTube guys who would come down again. Now it's totally reversed. Like a big portion of my viewer base is on YouTube now. It does make me more money though. Let's bring on our guest. Hey man, you're live, so don't say any slurs, okay?
Hello.
Not unless you want to make $100,000 after getting fired from Cinnabon, yeah? Look,
dude, yeah, that's the it was Cinnabon. That was it was the racist woman who said the N-word.
Yeah.
She earned $100,000.
They've raised so far. They've raised $100,000. Look, I'm in the wrong line of business. Okay,
dude, for real. Just shout the N-word as loud as possible, and then you'll get fired from your shitty job. And then insane conservatives online will give you as much money as they possibly can. Look, I understand. I'm of the opinion that cancel culture went a little too far. Okay, I think most people are. I think most people are like, hey, it's a little fair for Harvey Weinstein. Maybe we went a little too hard on Aziz Ansari. I think most people can say that. I think giving $100,000, and I think it's okay to fire people if they're customer service and they scream the N-word to their customers. That's my hot take.
It's crazy. Like they act as if this is some kind of like cosmic struggle that white women are tired of being harassed by these immigrant third worlders who ask them to put more caramel on their Cinnabon. I get, which is exactly. Apparently according to the reports, that was the kind of inciting incident, right? That a Somali couple came in and they asked for more caramel on their Cinnabon or whatever, and apparently she squeezed them out, but they asked her to squeeze more, and she got frustrated at them. She insulted the woman's hijab, called it a witchcraft voodoo bandana.
That's awesome.
The guy got mad.
That is not awesome. These people are fucking psychos. Okay, just to be clear, because there are streamers running around defending this action. So I just want to put myself clearly on the side of this woman's a little maybe should be fired from Cinnabon and maybe doesn't deserve $76,000. I'm seeing 76,000. It might have gone up since
I saw 100,000 last time I checked. But
yeah, I might be
wrong. Maybe
I'm sure it went up. Yeah.
Who knows? It's a lot of money. Is there a video? Yeah, but they say the N-word and we can't show the video on Twitch. They will ban me.
We'll just quote it.
Yeah. We'll just basically, so anyway, they call, or the woman calls the Somali lady's hijab witchcraft voodoo bandana, which to me, honestly, that right there should get you fired, right? If you're insulting someone's like a religious paraphernalia of a customer, like who lets that happen? What business would allow that to happen? Anyway, the guy got mad, started talking about how, well, are you any better because you're sexualizing yourself? And they got into a hissy fit and a screaming match. And I guess she screamed at him that he was the N-word and said it a few times, that she was racist. Anyway, the video went viral. It went up on Cinnabon, fired her. The Cinnabon's account or whatever said that she was let go from the location. And then all of MAGA banded together, lockstep information to defend this woman's actions and give her a shit ton of money.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to look this up. And I'm seeing that the fundraiser is not available. Like
did they get rid of it?
Every link goes to a dead link.
Did they?
Like it goes to GoFundMe and then it says the fundraiser is not found.
Here, let me look.
I don't know. I could be stupid and not being able to pull it up, but it might be that she just took her money and ran.
Or GoFundMe
or GoFundMe took it down.
could
Yeah,
have
yeah.
taken it down.
I
Here,
don't
let me
think they
find it.
would though, because I don't think this is like clearly against their terms and services. I
Oh,
don't
Give
know.
Send Go. Sorry, it wasn't GoFundMe. It was Give Send
Oh,
Go.
Gifts and Go. Never heard of this.
And it's at 115,000 raised. Sorry, yeah, my bad. I just call all these sites. I call them the same name, and I probably
No,
shouldn't.
no. Same. I'm so with you.
Yeah, it was Give Send Go, and it's still up. I'm looking at it right now.
I
They're
see.
raised USD 115,000 of the goal
Jesus.
of
Here, send me that link.
271,000.
I just, dude, it's crazy.
It's out there.
It's
Getting money.
crazy.
Look, gang, if I have any black followers and you want to split a bag, okay, I got an idea.
And you could we'll do a counter GoFundMe for them as well for getting called.
Exactly. We're gonna.
So we'll split the pot. Well, it won't even be split the pot. It's like I'll take the racist ones and you guys will take the.
Nah, that
you guys will
wouldn't be
take the
fair because the
liberals.
non-racist ones wouldn't get as much.
It would, yeah, that's fair.
So we have to be
we'll
fair.
split the
So we
pot. We'll
pull it all at
we'll
the
add it
end
together and then cut it. Yeah, I agree.
Man, and you know there's people out there who've been saying the N-word for free. Imagine saying the N-word for free in this economy. Okay.
We've got a business. There is way too much supply, but it looks like there's a lot of demand too. So we just got to find the right equilibrium here.
I think we have to be a white
here.
woman though, as a thing. So I think we got to get maybe your wife.
You think if it's a white,
you
think if it was a white man?
I don't think it would be get as much sympathy.
I think that's probably fair. I probably agree with you. Yeah, probably. So how do we usually do Collins? I don't think I've ever been here for Collins.
So yeah, so first I know we started weird, but welcome to the show, gang, everyone. Hi. Today on Wick TV we are doing viewer call-ins, and so what does that mean? That means you, yes, you, dear viewer, can call into the show and talk to me and my co-host, who happens to be today the lovely Staxiums.
Hello, you can call me Hunter.
Hunter, Staxiums, whatever you want to call him. Just not the N-word, okay? Not for free anyway. And then we can get you in, and we will talk to you about whatever you like. I will be putting the link to the Discord in the YouTube chat and in the Twitch chat. And so what you're going to do is you're going to click that link. You're going to accept the rules by clicking my face emoji on the rules page. And then you'll be able to see all the different channels, okay? You'll click the backstage, which is up at the very top, and then we'll pull you in when we're ready. But give me a second, and I will do that. In the meantime, why don't you tell everyone who you are, what you do, all that.
Yo, my name is Hunter. I do TikTok videos. They're mostly on philosophy. I'm currently getting my degree in philosophy, but also mathematics. So I actually do a lot of videos on like statistics. Usually doing like a statistical analysis on culture war bullshit, or just giving my take. I am largely called a liberal or a progressive. I'll probably take either. Usually I just sort of take whatever label people throw at me. A lot of people throw different labels at me. I was talking to like some Turning Point people recently, and they were like, are you a capitalist or a socialist? I'm like, I would call myself a capitalist for sure, but I know you guys would call me a socialist, so I don't know necessarily. You can follow me on TikTok. That's usually where I post the most, but I'm trying to post. I post other places, but my biggest place is TikTok for sure. Staxium's everywhere.
Crazy gang. But no, give him a follow, give him a sub, whatever they do on TikTok. I don't know what they call it, right? But make sure that you reward him for spending some time, okay, on our platform. But yeah, I posted the link to the Discord in both the YouTube and in the Twitch. You can click on that link, as I said, and yeah, whenever you want. In the meantime, while we wait for callers, it sometimes takes a little bit for the first one. You gotta. Oh wait, we got one. Okay, I was saying that, and then we got one right away. Hello, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi. Oh.
Hi.
Hello.
1 second. Hi, wait. Just give me 1 second.
Take your time. You're live though, so everyone's waiting on you.
Yeah, I'm back. I just need to mute my Discord because it was freaking loud.
Okay, what do you got for us? What are you calling in for?
Not much. Rick, I'm just gonna say hi first. Hi, how you guys doing?
Just great. Waiting on you, buddy. What do you?
Yeah.
Anything?
So I mean, I guess I could probably talk about like Hegseth, I guess, because
What are your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts,
Hegseth has been in
Hegseth?
the
Think he's a war criminal?
put his ass in jail, bro. Put his ass in jail.
What?
Put his ass in. Put his ass in jail. Basically, he's a war criminal.
Oh, put his ass in jail. Yeah,
What
yeah,
do you
yeah.
think he
Yeah,
said?
Sorry.
What were you thinking he was saying?
it's fine. It's fine, Hunter.
I couldn't understand what he was saying. That's all.
Okay.
But yeah,
It's fine.
no,
It's fine.
I think it's pretty egregious what Hegseth did. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously ignoring. Sorry, you wanna. I'll give you a space to talk.
No, it's fine, Hunter. You go ahead. You can go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, we talk a lot about the second strike, but the first strike seems pretty unconstitutional as well. But the second one is like very clearly
Hmm.
unconstitutional. It's pretty notable that we haven't been no congressperson except for like Rand Paul called them like the Trump apologists have been given access
Hmm.
to the tapes. Yeah, I don't know. And then
Yeah, I mean,
we should also talk about the fucking Democratic lawmakers who said you don't have to follow legal orders in response to this, and then Trump said we should hang them because they committed
just
sedition.
fucking
So,
yeah, and they're calling them the seditious six. It's just like, what the
mhm.
fuck is wrong with you people?
No,
But
for
no,
real.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the whole issue is like they're treating these organizations as like terrorists and military targets, even though they should be considered as criminal organizations. And for some reason, I don't know why everyone seems to think that we should just all use military force because this is all a part of the wider war on drugs. And for some reason, like Mexico, the U.S., the Philippines, those use military tactics and violence to solve these issues, but they never really consider like using a mixture of uh, um, law enforcement, social economic reform, decriminalizing uh, drugs to cut the outflow and inflow of these kind of drugs. And not to mention, I mean, I'll say this as well. I definitely am not in favor of tariffs, but if you're gonna tariff someone or some country, I think you should tariff China and Trump. I don't know, Trump just backed off
Okay, there's a lot of
because he's a talker.
there's a lot you
Yeah.
said here, and I want to get to a couple things. Okay, right? I want to get through
Mhm,
a couple things because I think it's important to talk about these things. So when it
mhm,
comes to the strikes, I think that
mhm,
I'm no fan of drug smugglers. I'm no fan
mhm.
of
Exactly.
drug
Agree.
dealers or any of that. But it would be very illegal if we were to just blow up a drug dealer. And like if we were to drone strike a drug dealer who was sitting on the corner selling some coke, some cocaine or whatever,
Mhm,
that would be illegal. We'd have to have some justification, right? They'd have to be attacking us or something. Like the idea that we
mhm,
can just simply blow up these boats, even if they are drug smuggling boats,
mhm.
is wild to me. It's inappropriate, especially since we know we can stop them, and the Coast Guard does all the time. We can interdict these boats without killing anyone.
Yeah, and I also think there's a utility argument to be made here. Like if you're saying that there's drugs on the boat, which by the way is still contested, Trump or Hegseth have not shown any proof that there's drugs on the boat. If there's drugs on the boat, intercept those people, put them in jail, and then we can find out where specifically that's coming from. Like that's kind of the whole
Mhm.
process rather than shooting them. There's a reason. It's not just because we're not savages. It's also because we it's just there's more utility to be gained outside of that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because you can gather intelligence because there's someone alive, not dead. And
Mhm.
on top of that, like we said, I was gonna bring up the Coast Guard as well. The Coast Guard already does this stuff, so why not just expand their capabilities, give them more funding, than freaking ice, and get to work.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Agreed.
sir, for
Mm.
calling in. I do appreciate you coming by. Yeah, I think that you have a pretty good picture of where we're at. And yeah, there's not much to disagree with you on, man. Thanks for calling
Yeah.
in.
You're welcome. I'm
Have a
gonna go
great
back
day.
to backstage now. Yeah, later.
Word.
Yeah. Sometimes
Beautiful
it's
thing.
like that. I think that though, I do want to kind of point out that when the
Mhm.
Washington Post first reported on the second strike, there was a lot of people who were saying it was
Mhm.
fake news, right? There's a lot of people saying that, oh, these are just anonymous sources. You can't trust them. They just made this stuff up. None of this happened. There was no second strike, etc. But as we've gotten more and more corroboration out there of what the facts actually were, the Washington Post is being vindicated in a way that's just crazy. Everything that they've said or reported on seems to be correct as we get more information. Like the challenge of, well, there wasn't even a second strike that they were saying at first. Turned out to be a lie,
Does seem, yeah.
right? I think one of the defenses after they showed the video was that, oh, well, we struck them because they were calling for help and trying to retrieve the drugs. The people who saw that video disagree. They acknowledge, even the Republican Top Cotton acknowledges they didn't have a radio. They didn't see any radio in the footage. In fact, we know, again, from further reporting, that it seems to be that these guys were trying to surrender, that they were trying to wave down for rescue or surrender. And then, after watching this, the order was given to kill them specifically. And again, initially, they denied that was the order. They denied Hegseth gave that order. But since then, Hegseth has admitted that he wanted to kill all 11. Like, he gave the order specifically to kill all 11 on the boat. So this is just, I don't know if we are just going to the White House is banking that credibility doesn't matter anymore because they've lost all of it with this story.
True. And in some ways, to their base, I don't know if it matters. There's always, I mean, there is kind of the perpetual issue with the Trump administration. I mean, I'm sure you've seen that tweet of like, you know, old Donnie can't wriggle his way out of this, and then he wriggles his way out of this easily. I don't know. He's had so many controversies. It's so hard to feel like anything will be held accountable. But hopefully, Hegseth doesn't have the Trump charm to just sort of move past all
today
controversies
it's funny
possible.
because today Congress, into the defense spending bill, they put in a measure, that they won't pass it unless they show the video of the second strike.
They won't pass what?
The
Sorry.
defense spending bill.
Oh,
the
defense spending. Gotcha. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so
And I
they're going to
assume this is
withhold
Democrats.
Pentagon travel funds until Congress at least sees the boat strike video, all of them. So
Yeah.
I think
I
that
assume
at this point, the public has the right to see the video and see what happened.
Unquestionably, for sure.
I
think that.
Anyway, let's bring in the next caller. I've yapped enough.
Bold take. Yep.
Yapped enough. What's up, brother?
What's going on, big dog?
Oh, you're live. What do you got for us today, sir?
I actually want to touch back on something for what you did the other day, as far as the Nuremberg stuff. The one debate you asked me to do that I couldn't make it to because I didn't respond in time.
You didn't respond in time. Let that be a lesson. But go on, please.
It was a
So
fun debate.
yeah, I know, but that's like I could have just done it so well. Sorry.
Are you pro or anti?
Oh, pro, like you couldn't even believe.
Gotcha.
So
I think
here's
you
the
have
thing.
you have Wick to disagree with rather than me. But yeah.
Yes, I know, but I with a grown up head, because the inner pragmatist in me says this fact, and we can't do anything about it except address it. And the fact is, we cannot just go back to pretending like what just happened was okay, right?
Well, make your argument and then we'll talk. But go ahead, make your argument.
So this is there has to be at some level some kind of truth and reconciliation of what just happened. I don't know, as far as like, yes, I would personally be okay with a Nuremberg style, but I understand that's not exactly palatable. Let alone, I just foresee I foresee someone like Nick Fuentes, who's not crazy, getting power and just doing the same thing back, but 50 times over. You're right.
You think? Sorry, you think Fuentes is going to be able to have political power?
No, someone like him.
Oh,
Someone
okay.
that's not as overtly crazy. Someone that has, like, I mean, the worst possible example is take a far right populist with the charisma of Barack Obama. Right.
I mean, yeah, I do agree that would be the worst case scenario. I don't know how feasible that would be.
Yeah, do you have anyone in mind, right? Like, who are you thinking of when you think that, when you say that?
Just like Trump, someone that nobody ever suspected. That's my fear, is that it comes out of, like, it could be, I don't know. I mean, it could be an actor. It could take someone like James Woods or someone like that just comes up, that can just capture all this energy, be eloquent and charismatic, and bring forth effectively the 3.5 Reich.
Okay,
right?
so here's my
I don't want to take that toy out of the box, is what I'm getting at.
Sure,
Not just yet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that toy does not have a place, but it's like a nuke. We only do that if we absolutely have to. But the fact remains, we cannot go back to pretending like this is just politics is normal, and what just happened is, well, shit happens. Like that's not acceptable.
Hold on. So there's a huge gap, I think, that people don't want to acknowledge between something like as Destiny was advocating for, banning 75% of the Republican Party for ever holding office again, which again I just reject wholeheartedly.
I did too.
It was just that's
I'm half sympathetic to it. Because at least that's an idea.
Sure. Let me get out my point though, please. Right.
Okay.
So there's a huge gap between that and then doing nothing. Just because I don't want to not ban 75% of the Republican Party from ever holding office again doesn't mean I don't want to do anything at all. I think that you are correct when you say that there has to be some accountability. Like Hegseth, specifically, we have evidence of his crime that is convictable, that we seem to be getting a bipartisan will to actually hold this guy accountable. I think that is something that we can start with. And we could start.
Okay, yes, but that's like getting Pablo Escobar's cousin and not Pablo Escobar himself.
Okay, but I think that if you expect Trump to go to jail, then it's no court's going to convict him.
What do you mean?
I'm much more sympathetic. Listen, I don't know how much I'm willing to take it laying down. Let's put it that way.
What do you mean take it laying down? So
that he just like when you're with your panel you had with Dev the other day, where if he does pardon himself, that gives full moral justification for someone to kill him. Right.
Do you agree with that?
Once again, I'm at that halfway point.
Okay. No, okay. This is the problem I'm having with this conversation and conversations like these. The electorate.
I can be swayed either way.
Sure.
Is what I'm saying.
Well, let me sway you then. Okay.
Yeah,
the electorate currently.
It can't. It's like it's like in Breaking Bad where Jesse's screaming he can't keep getting away with it.
Okay.
Right.
But the electorate is not going to let him get away with it. Now, it may not be the punishment you like, it may not be the punishment you want, but we see over and over and over again, right? Trump is unable to accomplish his goals because he's being stymied by our checks and balances, and he's losing support on all metrics, right?
I think that's...
We had just yesterday it was announced over 20 Republican House members are retiring and announcing retirements because they don't want to deal with this anymore.
I understand what you're saying, Wick, but can I counter just a little bit?
If I can finish my point, then yes, you can.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Right? I just let me get it out, please.
Okay.
I will forget where I'm at if you guys keep interrupting me, right? And we have an electorate that is sick and tired of this back and forth, right? And what they see is a back and forth, right? As a tit for tat shit. They want it to stop. They don't want constant trials, constant all this. They want to just go back to kitchen table issues. Where's my money, right? I want a good job. I want good security. I want good health care. And I think that if we focus on those, I think we win. But if we get bogged down in punishment and holding them accountable, I think we will start to lose. And I value winning much more and keeping them out of power much more than punishing them, right?
Sure, but what then? Where is your middle ground?
My middle
Where is
ground is
your
there are
where is
people who
your
have committed actual crimes in the administration that we can prove and that there's good evidence for, and we tackle those sons of bitches. We also
but
can impeach Trump. I'm not against that. Like all the investigations that were dropped when he won, I think it's perfectly reasonable to open those back up. I think that's fine. What I don't want to see is people in a state representative in Texas being put on trial for supporting Trump.
even though it's either an obvious grift or this is proof of psychosis.
I don't think it's an obvious grift or psychosis to support Trump in certain cases. If you
I think it is
if
when
you
you're in a
are
position
super
of power.
anti-immigration, how is that a grift or psychosis to support Trump?
Because you're willing, because you're grifting, because you will literally look past all of the obvious insanity and
Man,
um
that's just called a one-issue voter, man. Like I don't know what to tell you.
well, but okay, but Wick, here's the thing. Okay, it's like, think of it this way, hypothetically, all right. I really want a diamond the size of a fist, but I'm not prepared to chop off every limb I have to have it. These people, these politicians are. They're prepared to sacrifice anything and everything, okay, to stay in Trump's graces. This isn't a single issue thing, okay? This is, they are staying in their graces, and they will slurp him up at every opportunity if it's politically expedient, hence the grifter. Ben Shapiro, greatest grifter on the right now. It is so, I'm experiencing real schadenfreude because I'm watching him just go out of his way to do mental gymnastics to support Trump when everybody knows that he hates him, right? He is like Ben Shapiro at least follows the moral Republican route, where you know, any religious church going person would tell you that Trump is just, no, he is an abject, horrific, unchristian human being. And at least you would have that to stand on. Whether you like how can you even agree with his policies with the person being so bad, right? So immoral.
My
Um,
my issue though, and
hence the grift.
I do want
That's why I
to
say it's the
give
grift.
Hunter a chance to jump in here,
Yeah.
right? But my issue, and I'll just keep it concise, is that in your eagerness to punish and hold accountable Trump and his administration, I think that you're going to give that is just, you are simply planting the seeds of the next Obama Fuentes fusion candidate that's going to come up in 2032 or 2036. But go on, Hunter. You had some issues with what I was saying.
Yeah. So the first thing that I'm going to say is I feel like it is a truism that Trump will just face electoral losses given his positions. I mean, uh, we can point to 1,000 things that Trump has done where he keeps getting away with it. I mean, obviously the easy thing to point to is January 6th, and 3 years later he gets elected anyway. It seems like the voters have a lot of um, dementia when it comes to what Trump has done or what Trump has said. And I think as long as it's further back in time, they'll just sort of let him get away with it. And I think I value a functioning democracy, and I also think I recognize that although Trump has clearly broken a significant amount of laws, but so has a number of his cabinet and a number of people in his administration. And I don't think I'm saying we should ban all Republicans writ large from the caucus, but I am saying that, like, I don't know. We can't go back. We can't just go back to like the Republican Party has meaningfully shifted into a warped version of itself. And unless we call attention to that, or unless we do something about that, and I don't have a perfect answer, but I'm open to a lot of different solutions. And I disagree with Destiny's solution to just ban them all. But I also disagree vehemently that we just sort of let the electorate take care of it.
I mean, that's a democracy, though, right? At the end of the day.
To some degree, but like obviously
And again,
there.
like I said, I think there's less daylight between our positions than you might think, is because
No, for
again,
sure.
I'm open if you can prove criminal intent and criminal activity, prosecute the motherfuckers. I don't think anyone should be above the law, and I think that again,
problem,
just
though,
because
Wick-
it's recent, is the reason I bring it up. And Hegseth's perfect example. I think he's an easy convict.
Mhm.
But-
Yeah.
The problem, Wick, is that even if Trump faces all of it, his prison cell will have 10,000 linen count sheets. Right?
What?
It's so. You know what it's the equivalent of? It's the equivalent of, like, you know me. I've had our discussions with you about being an atheist, but it's like a Christian that on their death, like they were a serial rapist, murderer, worst scum ever, and on their deathbed they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I actually accept
I
Jesus as my
accept Jesus in
savior,"
my
and they
heart.
go to heaven. Like it cannot be that where it's like, okay, he did come to terms and face it. He did atone. He was, like, okay, I guess it's all good now. It's like, no, it is so not fucking good. Okay, while I disagree with well, I don't know if I disagree. Like, while I disagree with Destiny's with his prescription, like by and large, because like I said, I don't want to take that toy out of the box just yet. I a billion% agree with his energy behind it. That we cannot just like pretend like somebody didn't just drive a bulldozer through my house and say, well, that's democracy.
You don't have to pretend someone didn't drive a bulldozer into your house, but you also don't have to go out and start, like, I don't know, shooting every guy who has a bulldozer, right? Like, we can have middle grounds here, and I don't think it's inappropriate.
I don't want to shoot everyone that has
Hold
a
on,
bulldozer.
I don't think
I
it's
want to shoot the guy that
inappropriate.
had the
I
bulldozer that
don't
went
think
to
it's
my house.
inappropriate, right, to focus on reestablishing norms, legislative guardrails, and also legal guardrails rather than punitive measures.
I think it's a little disingenuous to refer to Republican lawmakers as not being complicit, like just saying that they have the same tractor.
Complicit in
They
what
have
way that's illegal, though?
illegal, fair, which is why Steven's like, well, that's why we just ban them from politics. We don't necessarily say that
Okay,
they
but
broke
that's
the
a-
law,
that's-
but you can't be complicit in Trump's administration like this.
Yeah, but you can draw that complicity out to very tenuous degrees.
I agree. There's a slippery slope here, but I think that we draw the line somewhere, as in with all slippery slopes.
And again, I want to draw the line at Trump and his cabinet.
Yeah, and I think we should extend it a little bit more than that.
I don't.
But
anyway,
I think that Mike Johnson is certainly more culpable than you're giving him credit for here.
Okay, Schwango, thank you for calling in, sir.
Hold on, I got one last little thing.
One last little thing. Okay, one more thing.
One last little thing here. What about people like Candace Owens? Should there be some sort of legal repercussions for like this person that is obviously selling provable lies for mass profit and stoking the flames of, like with the whole Turning Point thing? I'm sure you've heard and seen how she's saying,
she's crazy.
Turning Point actually killed their own person.
Crazy.
And
that's crazy shit.
Like,
but I don't think
should there be any kind of
I'll tell you why.
repercussions for this?
Because any kind of violation of the First Amendment that you would need to do in order to prosecute Candace for her quote unquote lies is going to be turned and used on people who aren't actually lying, and it's just the government is claiming is lying. And I don't want to open that box. I think that I care about my freedom more than I care about punishing someone who's lying.
Even though she's selling radiation, it's effectively radiation, right? Where it's like you can't see it, you can't whatever. It's like, hey, we can't control what goes in and out, and it's just such trace amounts. But over time, you mutate into something that is totally
Owens is
bad for you and bad for the nation.
Yeah, hold on. Candace Owens is going to be one of the reasons that Republicans lose in a blue wave that is going to dwarf 2018.
And is that enough for you?
But I don't know if that's true.
Every metric we have shows that will be the case.
Sorry, I think that every metric is saying that people are moving away from the Republican Party, but I also think that Candace Owens is a little bit cross-ideological. Like she gets a specific version of voters that are not usually associated with the Republican Party. They are heavily conspiratorial. They are extremely disenfranchised from the political system writ large. And I don't know. I
How
think
many of
that
her viewers vote?
no, that's my point. Is I think she's mobilizing disenfranchised voters.
I
And I'm
disagree. I don't
yeah,
think that.
maybe I don't know. I don't have data to back this up. This is my gut feeling. But I
Yeah,
also think that
these are my intuitions too.
she's probably liable for libel. She's liable for libel. And I hope that the courts take care of it. And if she's spewing lies, I mean, I think that's kind of what the courts are for. I don't know if there's anything else we can do about that, though. I don't know if we should just say that the FCC should, like, if she's liable, let's go the same route that Alex Jones took, where we
Well, I think
sue them for
isn't like
harassing
the French government
victims.
suing her for libel
I
when
think
it comes
so.
to
I would assume so.
her claims about Macron's wife being trans or something.
Something to that
I'm
effect,
happy
Well,
to
she also said that
follow that.
the French government was trying to assassinate her, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that one of the claims?
Like, she
Yeah.
said a lot of crazy shit.
She's fucking crazy for sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
And to be clear, I don't know
Did
how
she go
much
after
of it
Erica Kirk?
is a lie and how much of it she actually believes, right?
I think she's schizophrenic for sure.
Yeah, and so
No,
like
I think she's grifting. I think she knows damn
Maybe.
well what she's doing and damn well what she's saying.
I'll hear
Um,
it. My intuition is that she's grifting.
Well,
sorry, no, she's grifting. She's
well,
genuinely.
like,
I think she's just
listen to the way
genuinely crazy, but I could be
listen to
wrong.
the way she answers questions, though. She answers questions very carefully. That's how I know she's grifting. She doesn't just blurt out like a schizophrenic answer. She answers the questions carefully,
Hold on.
right?
That's fair.
Schizophrenics they're not, they don't got Tourette's, right? They're not the type
Nope,
of people
they
who
don't
just
have Tourette's,
spam things
but here's the
out.
thing, if you were to
Right?
say
A lot of schizophrenics will build elaborate internal structures that they protect, right? And
But
they're
you know what they would
pretty
say? So here's
rhetorically sound.
let me give you a grounded example. So like in an interview, like
Quickly,
someone will be
because we have
interviewing her.
more callers.
Yeah,
So-
someone will be interviewing her, and they'll be like, "So do you have like if she was actually crazy, they'd be like, do you have evidence that the French government's trying to kill you?" She'd be like, "Absolutely, I do. It's here. I have the emails. I have like." She would just like stand on it. Whereas she goes, "I've been told by my contacts in the FBI,"
Right.
and it's like these are like she intentionally crafts unfalsifiable claims.
Yeah. I agree with this. I agree
Wow.
with this, but I also think that I think in her fucking weird head, and this is my intuition, but fully could be wrong. She genuinely believes that the French government is tried to assassinate her, and then sort of knows and then lies for that merit, if that makes sense. Like the ends justify the means to her.
Yeah,
So she
it's
knows
no
she's
different-
lying, but she feels like it's for the truth. So
Yes,
there's a weird
it's no different
blend
than when a girl like I mean to use a crass example, but like a girl at school, like somebody says like "bitch, I hate you," and then she just goes on and says they threatened to kill me.
Exactly. Yep. I agree.
Women,
So, but
am I
therefore it's a
right?
grift.
That's a
It's an
real
obvious
problem
lie.
in America. Women. Okay,
I'll
thanks for
hear it.
calling
Yeah,
in,
I'll
Schwingo.
round a grift. I'm fine with that.
Thanks for calling.
Shout out that guy. He was great.
I like this bloodlust though. That a lot of
I don't think
Democrats
it's
have.
bloodlust. I don't think it's bloodlust.
Okay, I'm being hyperbolic with the term, but they
right, but I think
they
that
would burn,
hyperbolic-
like, there are people, and you have to admit this is true. There are
Okay.
people on the left who would literally burn down America if it meant that they could hurt Trump too.
Sure. Okay. I don't think that that's even like a plurality. Like I don't think that that's a
No, but they're very
significant-
vocal.
Like who? Can you think? I don't even.
Sure,
know who
I
those
at
guys are.
this point think Destiny would do that.
Oh please.
You don't think so?
No.
I do. I think that there are plenty in the
I think
DGG
he
orbit
cares
who
deeply about
absolutely
America.
would do that.
Maybe I can't speak for everyone in his community.
And
like,
another
I'm sure you could find wacko people in his community who are saying some crazy things. But no, I think Steven is just like, we need to do some drastic steps in order to save America here because
yes, they're willing to burn it down because they think that it
don't-
can't work because Trump's getting away with it. The system's broken all the repair, so they have to play by their same rules and do the same actions that, to be clear, the electorate is punishing the Republicans for doing, right? And they think
To
that by
some-
adopting those same things, that they're going to have a different outcome that the Republicans are currently experiencing.
I
They're not.
agree with you that the electorate is punishing Trump, but I also don't think by a significant amount enough of. I don't think by a significant enough amount to warrant my feelings that the American public knows what they're doing. And like obviously it's a democracy, right? Like to some degree we have to say, okay, well, we have to let the cards land where they land. But in another sense, like I also don't think any functioning democracy is just purely direct democracy. Let's just let the electorate do whatever it wants and we'll just vote on every single policy.
We have checks and balances to this. The
No, I know, but
Senate,
I'm
for
saying
example, is a good anti-democratic institution, right? That's the whole purpose is to be anti-democratic, right? The SCOTUS is the same. That's
Sure.
by design. But we do live in a representative democracy with checks on it, and if the people vote in a candidate, we have to accept the results.
But what? Okay, but then here's my question then, Wick. What if the electorate votes not unanimously, but to a significant majority, Democratic congresspeople, and basically say that this is a response to Trump, and with that enormous majority that they have, Congress enacts essentially these like Nuremberg-ish laws. Isn't that just democracy landing where it lays? You know what I'm saying? Like, isn't that
if we get to that bridge, we can cross it. But I would even then say that there are certain things that we don't vote on, right, in this country.
But that's But I guess I'm saying isn't this your logic that we nominated these Democratic lawmakers and their population or sorry their
even though we accept. Hold on, you do accept that Trump won the 2024 election, correct? You accept that?
I think he won.
Yeah, I think he won too.
Who knows though? I'm joking. He for sure won.
That said, we can oppose what he's trying to do still, right? We can still use our representatives that we've elected, right, and our voices to oppose the various policies he wants in. So while, yes, we can accept that if the public wants to elect a bunch of bloodthirsty Democrats who want to just punish all the Republicans and kick them out of office, we can accept that they actually won, right? We don't have to accept everything that they want to do. We can say some of the things that they want to do, even if they were elected to do it, are simply unconstitutional and cannot be allowed. One of the things about a constitutional democracy is that the Constitution and its rules bind the democracy, right? And prevent it from taking certain actions.
I feel like you're just like a civics 101 professor. I understand what a constitutional
Do you though? Because what you're advocating for goes against that.
How is what I'm advocating for anything against the way that the laws are set up in America? I don't understand.
I don't think I don't think our legal system would allow a Nuremberg-esque trial. But yes, we'll bring in the next guy. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
What's up?
Hello. Hi. I wanted to ask a few questions. These are mildly housekeeping. Do you have the intention or the plan to do more of those struggle sessions that you did with Dev?
If people liked it, sure. Why not?
I liked it. You should do it with more people. If you pull good logic into that, is what I'm telling you.
You want me to set up a good logic versus the world?
Yes.
Do you think good logic would go for that?
Good logic seems absolutely shameless, so I think so. However, okay. I don't know for sure.
I mean, I could pitch it to him, see if he's down, but we'll see, right?
Slightly similar vein. Do you ever reach out to Pisco for the debates that you do?
On occasion, but not a lot because we don't do a lot of legal debates here. I mean, the last time I had him on was debating on the Comey indictment, right? That went well. That was fine.
Yeah. He was very aggro, but I think he was appropriately aggro.
Yeah, that was fine.
Shut up, Pisco.
Yeah. I'm willing to have him on. If I can get someone big who disagrees with birthright citizenship, I would absolutely set up a debate with that. But the problem is, a lot of the people who are big on the birthright citizenship thing or anti-birthright citizenship thing won't come on to debate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder how much pressure it would do if you kind of listed the amount of debates that people decline to do on these kind of topics, because it's if they're signing off all the time on Twitter about some nonsense but they never defend it. I think that it might be worth pointing out. Though I recognize that might burn some bridges if you do that too aggressively. So I don't want to drive your boat for you.
Okay. Yeah, it just depends on the like. There's a certain point. Like I'll give you one. Sargon of Akkad. Okay, I've invited that motherfucker on a few times. Okay, and he's complained that the left never invites him on. He's complained constantly that no one on the left will talk to him. So I've said, hey, I can get you big names to talk to. I can get you Lonerbox. I can get you Destiny. I can get you all these names. If you want someone a little more serious, I can get that too, right? Across the board, I'm able to pull in these people for you. And I've offered him. I've had people who know him, who have direct connections to him, reach out to him to talk to him, right? And to invite him on these things. You know what he says? Oh, those people aren't serious.
Yeah, he's lying though.
Yeah, he is, obviously.
No, for sure.
So this is one example of a person I am perfectly okay with naming and shaming and saying, hey, brother, I've invited you, keep complaining, but I've given you all these opportunities. You've kept declining. That's not on the left. That's on you.
So I remember him basically claiming that he was bad at debate because every time he tried to show up for something, he got dog walked, like even by like relatively no-name feminists. Like just, it was awful to watch. I
Is he
used to
still
flag him.
relevant?
I don't think
Like,
so.
I haven't heard of him in I want to say like a year plus.
He
Still wandering around somewhere.
I think because his YouTube channel, he nuked his YouTube channel. I think he's on like maybe Truth or something. I don't really know, but his Reddit's like banned or quarantined or something, and he's like obliterated his YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm seeing he's still making YouTube videos, but it's a lot less. My fall from liberalism. That's so funny. When have you ever been a liberal, dude?
But like I said, I'm perfectly willing to have Sargon of Akkad. Even now, even today, I'd be like, come on in, and we can talk.
Dev thinks he's a liberal. That's what I hopped in to talk to him about. Is he thinks Sargon used to be a liberal, capital L liberal. Before.
I can't speak to the history of Sargon. I just don't know enough. I've never really followed the guy, so.
Yeah. So I also had some input on the conversation with the last caller. That was happening. Yeah, probably. I'm awful at names.
That's fine.
But Wick mentioned that like we should, instead of focusing on like the punishment aspect of the previous of the nonsense that's been going on, we should focus on like kitchen table issues. My question, I guess, for that is like, why can't we do both?
Based.
The biggest lie in politics is that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We have a limited amount of push or pull, if you will, with the public. They want to see us focus on certain things. And the more we don't focus on those and focus on other things, the more annoyed that they will get. Now, one of the things that is commonly done in politics is you throw red meat to the base, right? But you also have a singular focus on something that the general electorate, the general populace wants. And if you give them what they want, then you can do your side projects and stuff. So the first thing we need to do once we win, after we win, which we will, the first thing we need to do is to actually govern well. That means fix a lot of the problems that absolutely people are having economically all over this country. We need to help make their lives better. Once we do that, then and only then should we be focusing on any kind of punitive measures for.
But I don't understand where that line specifically is, because you could always make that claim that we need to be focusing more on affordability.
The line is it's hard to give you a specific one, right? I can't tell you how many grains of sand make a heap, right, specifically, but I can say that if the first thing you're doing right out the gate is doing these things, you're doing the wrong thing, and you're going to lose the next election. One of the things that we should learn, one of the lessons we should learn from all of this, from the MAGA stuff, because remember in 2024, once Trump won re-election, and everyone was saying this is the death of the Democratic Party, they're going to be spending the next 30, 50 years in the wilderness, they're never going to get elected again, this is a blowout of epic proportions, blah, 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 right?
Wait, sorry, when? The 2020? Is that what you said?
2024. after this
Gotcha,
most recent
gotcha,
election.
gotcha.
Everyone was
Cool.
saying the Democrats were done. They were sunk. They lost all the houses. They had nothing, right? How quickly the turntables, right? How quickly the political winds have shifted. Why? Because MAGA didn't
Because
fucking
Republicans
govern.
can't fucking govern.
Yeah, and they went on a revenge spree. That's what they did.
So-
They went on a let's punish our enemies spree.
Could I also just throw in that they also aggressively tariffed our countries, got ourselves into
Yes, they
numerous
did a
trade
lot.
wars,
There's
and
many
ramped up
factors.
inflation, and that's the number one criticism, is that affordability is an issue, and voters are turning against that, and that is the number one policy that people are turning on Republicans for. It's not their revenge campaign; it's their affordability issues. And I'm saying, if we're yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'll let the
So like I would the it's agreeing with what you're saying. So the it's also the infrastructure that we would use to go after these people legitimately. You seem to be thinking that we're talking about like doing something unconstitutional. Even the destiny is unhinged as people are kind of making this out to be. He was basically saying we go after them like they went after Hunter Biden, right? You comb through their shit and you find something, not just make up a charge, right?
I don't know, man.
but-
He was kind of saying that I believe the quote was, if we can find a state senator who texted "I support Trump," that's sufficient to ban them from politics.
So we can get into that. I want to finish my lamb.
Yeah. Okay. Finish.
So the like what I would say that we need to do is like the kitchen table stuff is going to take some time for, like, if we start doing it day one, which we should, it will take some time before it kicks in. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes longer than an election cycle. So you end up with Trump like coming in on a hot economy and then shitting all over the place, and then Dems picking it up and then being blamed for inflation, and then Trump getting it back and shitting all over the place again, right? So like some of that might be like a messaging issue. Like some of it might be like, hey, we've shored up this institution that is going to protect consumers from like nonsense corporate bullshit, right? Like we've reinstated some things that Trump tore down that will benefit your cost of living. But like we don't need to center some of the stuff we're talking about, right? Like the people watching, when I say center, we don't need to focus the messaging on the going after people like we're talking about.
Oh,
so we can do all the messaging, we can do all the stuff that is kitchen table topics and have that be on the news, and then every so often it's just like, hey, you remember that Trump guy? Well, he threw the fucking book at him because he wasn't interested in us.
Okay,
right?
you understand
Like,
that we don't get to like control the news in that way, right? That's not how it works. We have to work the news cycle. It's like a wild beast in a lot of ways, right? A lot of people will say the Democrats control media and the Republicans control the media. That's just an incorrect way of viewing it.
I don't.
we're talking about the Democrats' messaging, not necessarily.
Okay, but I understand. But
what I'm saying is,
hold on. Part of messaging is controlling the news cycle. And how you control the news cycle is by not doing certain things until you fix other things, right? So I just think that, yes, it's going to take some time in order to get the economy on track, get what's needed to a lot of these zoning regulations that have been in the way, we need to get rid of those. There's a lot of stuff that we need to do and we should do that I think that would be great for the American people. But again, if all they see us doing, right, if they see their pocketbook isn't getting any fatter while we're prosecuting the last administration, we're going to lose that next election. And then nothing, they'll just get free and they'll be held unaccountable.
We would do both. Like I said,
again, I'm telling you that doesn't work. You can't do both.
I'm going to throw out a counterfactual, which is Biden's last year in office. He dropped inflation down from like, I want to say like 8% to like 3%. The economy was essentially booming. It was incredible, and people were still complaining about the state of the economy. A lot of people called it the vibe session, right? That like it wasn't really like prices were actually getting higher, but a lot of people felt it nonetheless. And I think my question is, Wick, what if we're doing a great job, but people aren't feeling it for whatever reason? Maybe it's like genuine
Again,
delusion. Can we just like
No, I
throw out that
agree.
idea?
That's why messaging matters. Perception matters. And
So-
one of the things that Biden did a poor job on is
I
messaging.
100% agree that his messaging sucked.
So
I 100% agree.
100%, we also not only need to do a good job, but project that we're doing a good job. And what my argument here is that one of the ways that you project that you are focusing on the economy is by not going on a revenge tour.
But my point
And this is hold
if
and let me finish.
Okay.
Let me
Sorry.
finish because
fine.
you recognize, right, that a lot of the economic insecurity is due to perception, right?
Yeah.
If you recognize if Trump had focused specifically on the economy and he had not done all his revenge tour shit, he would be slightly better than he is off today.
I think, funnily enough, what I'm saying is he did focus on the economy. He focused it negatively.
No,
Like,
he focused on tariffs, which is stupid.
That's what I'm saying.
Right,
Yeah.
The
that
people
was-
he put, like the people that he put everywhere, are like clowns, right? Like they're not serious. Like his cabinet are not serious people.
And the first
Right, like
thing he did, to be clear, was cut a bunch of U.S. aid, go on a revenge tour against government.
Is that?
That's the first thing was Doge.
I don't know if that's a
Yeah.
revenge tour. I don't.
That
I
was
don't know what
absolutely a revenge tour.
That was Musk's revenge
Against-
tour. That was
No, but
going
like
after
against
people.
what specifically?
Against
like, I don't know
the
if that's like
deep
political
state,
opponents.
quote unquote.
It's
Well,
so
it was
it's so
well, for-
ambiguous that I don't even know if that's like if it's fair to call it a revenge state. Like, for example, my wife actually worked for USAID. She got terminated by Trump or by Musk. Trump didn't have a bone to pick with her specifically, or even her generally. Like, I don't even understand the like.
Well, it's because that part of USAID was going after some of the environmental nightmares that Musk was causing. Like there were
I
institutions.
hear you. Okay, I'll hear it.
But so when I will also say that, like, first of all, like people don't care, like, broadly. Like, I live in Alabama. Nobody gives a shit about the alligator Alcatraz and all the schizo shit that he's doing. If anyone will kind of acknowledge that they voted wrongly, they will only do so in terms of the economy. They don't care about all the shit that's on the news. So
I do largely agree. Yeah.
So, like,
All right, keep going.
if like what I'm saying is, like, and second of all, there's also like a truth factor to this, right? Like, we're not talking about a revenge tour. We're talking about justice, right? We're talking about like enforcing criminal laws about like insurrection, right?
Okay,
So,
again, I'm not opposed to it, but if you're gonna do it, you better make sure it works, and you better make sure you don't lose the next election and all your stuff goes up into smoke. Hello?
I
He's
hear
gone.
you.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I
No, that's fine.
fine.
That's the thing. That's my fear. That's my concern. That's what I see happening, is that there are a lot of Democrats who want revenge more than they want to win.
It's not revenge, and I don't think that it will prevent us from winning. Like, the fact claim that this will inhibit this will cause us to poll poorly, I think has not panned out, because again, Trump's doing some schizo shit on some
We can look.
non-factual basis.
Sure, we can look at the November election results, and we can see that the people who went after Republicans with very vindictive rhetoric did much worse than the Democrats who didn't do that.
Sorry, I do want to throw in one more thing. You mentioned the USAID as being like part of Trump's
the
revenge
conservatives,
kick.
the Trump's administration. Because remember,
Sure.
maybe this is a hot take.
But
Trump isn't running the country. Stephen Miller is.
I don't think that's a hot take. I
Okay.
agree.
Stephen Miller
Well,
absolutely hates immigrants and hates the deep state, hates USAID, hates all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been his thing, and he's trying to destroy it all. And he's running around with a chainsaw trying to do it as much as he can before we kick him out of office.
I think there's a distinction between the revenge kick you're describing and the revenge kick I'm describing, which yours is also like economically poor. It's also like it brings extreme harm to Americans who live here. It makes our lives substantially worse. And I think that it's a little apples to oranges when you're comparing Trump's revenge kick to what Destiny's describing.
I understand what you mean because, yes, I think that the Hegseth and others in the Trump admin have done actual crimes, whereas, it's
No,
just
but
kind of fake
not just
crimes that
not
they're
just
trying to
actual
do.
crimes. I'm saying also like just harm to the country.
Yeah, no, I
Like
agree. I agree.
okay, cool. Sorry.
Right? I agree. But you got to again, just like you mentioned with the economy could be one way, but if everyone thinks it's the opposite way, it doesn't fucking matter.
So the one thing I would also, so this is part of it. I think this needs to be part of it. Is when we talk about messaging.
Real quick,
part
that
of
we do got more people, so I gotta cycle. But yeah.
Yeah. So the part of the problem with messaging is that like we are at a disadvantage in the fact that like at least most Democrats and like left leaning people have some sort of internally held responsibility to like tell the truth, right? Like we can't just go up there and make shit up most of the time.
Yeah, I think you
like
should
our
generally
audiences
be
won't
honest in your dealings.
Yeah.
Yes.
So but the Republicans don't have to deal with that, right? That like people like Temple and whoever else, Candace Owens, can just come out here and say whatever batshit inflammatory crap they want to say, and there's no like repercussions for it. Now, I'm not saying that we need to go after speech because First Amendment, right? What I am saying is that it's awful funny how many of these people seem to have a lot of connections with like Russians and stuff. So like maybe we need to check their funding and make sure that they're not fucking.
We had a case going against Tenet Media, right? But because Trump won, that was shuttered, right? They took it Trump has again closed a lot of these cases because again he's corrupt. He's one of the most corrupt presidents in history. I am not opposed to reopening those cases. I've never been opposed to that. But my issue is that what it seems to be that Staxiums, you, and others have been advocating for is more than just that. And if I'm mistaken, I'm mistaken. But that's the sense I get, that you want to go further than simply reopening cases and also opening cases against people like Hegseth.
The length that I want to go to is the length that they went to Hunter Biden, right?
Okay,
or there might have been.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be. I don't think that's the way, brother.
And I would also just say with the tenant thing, this I might be wrong, but the what was being pursued was against the two like people that were at is it Russia Today? Is that they're like American side? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was two Russia Today people that like were they were the ones that were taking the money from Russia and giving it to the Canadian lady that was running that company. There wasn't any like they weren't. I don't think they were specifically looking into like some of the talking heads that were making the content. And I like.
Well, they did. The problem is they didn't have convictable evidence on any of those guys that they were in the know, right? But they did have convictable evidence on Lauren Chen and her husband. And that's one of the things about the rule of law, man, is we can't be Hegseth and just blowing up boats because we suspect. Right? We have to have convictable evidence, right? We can't act like them. One of the things that I'm worried about, and I'll finish and I'll let you finish, right? I'll let you have the last word. One of the things I'm worried about, and I see more and more, is that more and more Democrats are fine doing the same types of behaviors that MAGA is doing because they feel that they're justified in doing it because they're right and MAGA is wrong. And my argument against that is that if you start behaving like MAGA, I will stop supporting you. That's it. If you behave like MAGA does, I won't support you because I think the way MAGA behaves is fundamentally un-American, immoral, and wrong.
The Democratic base when they lose Wick as a voter.
Man, I am the most Democrat big D dog guy you'll ever meet. Don't lose me, okay?
You're comparing it to double tapping the boat. I'm comparing it to stop. What I'm proposing, I would compare to stopping the boat and looking for the drugs. I feel like a lot of these people very obviously have some suspect connections with their funding, and I don't think that it's illegitimate or anti-constitutional to check into that. If I'm wrong and they come out squeaky clean, then I'll just take the L.
If you want to investigate them, go for it.
Okay, I'll let other people come through there.
Okay,
I'm pretty
thanks
You're
for
good.
calling in,
You're
brother.
allowed to investigate them, bro. So get on it, please.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you
He's working on
you
it.
have evidence that there's wrongdoing, open an investigation. I think that's fine. Hello,
And
you're
also say that's
live.
okay.
Hello, how are you?
All so far so good. What you got cooking for us, Al?
So, I obviously disagree fundamentally about the idea of like doing a complete top-down reconstruction of the Republican Party because I think a dangerous precedent was definitely set when you have people like Ron DeSantis and other like lawmakers statewide or on the state level who are making laws like, oh, certain books can't be put in schools. People whose kids may or may not be trans will be removed from them. Like these are laws that are just like setting like a really dangerous bar for other states, which is why we have laws like in certain states, okay, we're going to have the 10 commandments, but there's no mention of any other religion. So like the rhetoric is dangerous because they're letting it happen essentially.
I don't know if I'm understanding your point. Can you recontextualize? You're saying that we shouldn't go after Republicans because they're doing shitty things in the states that they're governing.
No, I said we should.
Oh, sorry.
We
Wait, do you
absolutely
want to take
should.
this?
Yeah, we absolutely should go after Republicans because they're the ones who are setting
What do
this
you even
weird.
mean by go after Republicans? What do you mean?
So I don't know in what regard we would go after them, but I think that Trump loyalty, it should be punished in some kind of way. Like
Okay,
we
yeah,
definitely
but if this is where we're going to have the disagreement. If you say they should be punished by losing their vote, losing their seat, cool. Yes, I think that yes, they should lose their election. But if you want to punish them in certain ways, I'm gonna be like, what? Like then we're gonna have an issue. Like so for supporting Trump, you want to
We should
punish them.
castrate them, Wick. How do you feel about that?
yeah, I would definitely castrate. No, I'm just kidding. We should I don't know if you can even do that, like remove their ability to run for office, but I think it's really,
You
really
can't.
dangerous.
Not really.
Okay, well, you can give them negative 10,000 votes when they start, and then they have to go up from there. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. See, like a lot of people are. So who was the guy in chat that was saying I was straw manning? Who's that guy? Where is he? Are you
That's
still there?
awesome.
Can we get an update on that straw man accusation?
Yeah, you start in the negative, and you have to go up from there. Like that's what we're doing.
Okay, can we get an update on the straw man accusations? But
You
go
start
on.
at a deficit of 1,000 points. That's awesome. Or not 1,000 points. You
Yeah,
started a deficit of considerable amount.
10,000 votes. Yep, you have to keep going up from there. No,
Like you're laughing about this, but Alish, we've had conversations. I don't think you're actually kidding. I think that you do want to do something, right? Along
Well,
those
I
lines.
think that the issue is that that's infeasible, not that that's inappropriate.
No, it's also inappropriate, right? It would be inappropriate to put a malice of votes against someone because of their political affiliation.
No. Sorry. If you're a Republican, I think it's fine that you can run. We're not going to give it to anyone who's a Republican. It's anyone who supported Trump. We're going to be really clear about
You
that.
can't do that because there's a myriad of reasons that are valid to support Trump. I think it's silly and gross
Wait,
that
hold
they
on,
did.
hold on. There's a myriad of reasons to support Trump if you're a voter. That's my personal opinion. I think if you're a Trump voter, you are disillusioned, you're ignorant, you fed into propaganda. If you're a politician and you're sitting in those fucking meetings every day, I don't know if there's an excuse for you. I don't know if there's any valid reason. I'll hear it for someone like Thomas Massey. I'll hear it for someone like Rand Paul, who are like, listen, I'm a Republican in name, but that guy's fucking psycho. I'll hear it for you guys. But the Mike Johnsons of the world, something needs to happen. I'm not condoning. There are things that I would not be condoning for sure. Obviously, let's not resort to violence. 1,000,000%. But any sort of political ramifications, I'm open to. I'm listening to.
Okay, how about this? So I think that there should be a sort of you get what you vote for sort of ideology behind where the people who are carrying out their campaigns have to be 100,000% transparent about what they're planning on doing, because a lot of the reason why people voted for Trump is because they thought he was going to do things that he either didn't do or that he claimed he was going to do or kind of lied about. Same with people who are voting in these lawmakers or the governors. There we go. The governors who are just doing like insane things to people of their states. They need to kind of lay out what percentage of their state is actually going to be affected by these laws and how many people would actually would have a negative outcome from these laws. Maybe if they look at it from that way, it'll mean something to them when they see like, oh, let's see, we're going to be putting the 10 commandments. One of my things is going to be putting the 10 commandments, just pretending like I was a governor. And then they'll say like 10 commandments in schools. That means that X% of people who are Muslim, X% of people who are atheists, and so on and so forth from there are going to have to sit there in the classroom and look at these things all day. So that's going to be the repercussion. One negative, one positive. That way people can understand if there's a net positive or net negative to voting them into office.
And you're suggesting enforcing this?
I wouldn't necessarily say enforcing it like you have to do it, but I would definitely think it would be good to set a precedent for people who are doing this when like we talk about transparency, because that's the reason why Trump was given the position he was.
I don't like this, Alish, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Right? Because what people think they're voting for, or what people even think they can accomplish when they run, sometimes runs into reality in ways that they do not intend it to run
the
into
ice cream
reality.
president.
Right?
You know what I'm talking about?
The ice
The ice
cream
cream
Yeah,
president?
Joe Biden. He liked ice cream, right?
I'm talking about, you got your student body president in elementary school and someone goes fucking ice cream every single day and everyone's like, fuck, let's get that guy in. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with right now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
That's
but
why
the
I made that
reason, hold on,
analogy.
stop.
Okay.
The reason why I think that what you're advocating for is unworkable and unfeasible and in fact probably immoral is that
you're such a downer all the time.
I know. This is why I only have 100 people watching me, is because I tell people
is
what
this
not to
immoral?
do rather than what they should. Like I'm always telling people no, and people don't like to hear no, and I get that, right? They get mad when I tell them no. But the reason why I don't
Sounds
think
like
that
we should be taking electoral advice from you because you don't know what the people want.
I absolutely know what people want, and that's why I'm telling them no, because I know what they want, and what they want is horrific. Okay, democracy is the belief that the people know what they want, they deserve to get it good and hard. Okay, that's democracy in a nutshell.
Never say good and hard to me ever again, Wick. Can you do that for me?
Okay, well,
sorry, keep going.
Half of our midnight DMs gone in an instant. Okay, but let me explain why this is a problem. Is because people often will have the best of intentions and entirely try using all that they can in order to get a policy passed, but the political winds being what they are, they simply can't do it. Should we hold that person to account for not being able to get what he wants done, even if they made a good faith, good attempt effort? I say no.
Yes.
Right? You say yes?
Yes, we should.
Well, so for sure we should to some degree. If they were ignorant about how reality functions.
But it's not ignorant to how reality functions to say things like Obama wanted to get a single payer system in place, but he couldn't because
that was political feasibility. But if you're implementing
that's what I'm saying. But he absolutely wanted to do that. He tried to do that, and if he had run on doing that, I think the only appropriate accountability is that people don't vote for you next time.
But there's clearly a difference between two different politicians. The first is like an Obama who tried to get single payer passed and could only get the ACA passed. And there's someone like Zoran, where let's just use a hypothetical, where Mamdani becomes mayor and he's like, wait, shit, these government run stores are actually going to be more expensive than the others, and he just decides not to do it. And I think in those cases, Obama should not be punished, but Mamdani should be punished. Now, this is the hypothetical where, Mamdani isn't able to do it, but he was wrong about how reality functions. He was wrong about how his government, about how his malls should function. And I think he should be obviously punish politically for that. No?
Okay, punished politically by, again, losing his next election? Sure. But Alish doesn't want that. Alish wants something different. $20 from Late Dragon, thank you for the $20, to say, think carefully about what you promise your base. For reference, see MAGA and the Epstein files. Absolutely. And I think that's totally appropriate to just remind people that, hey, this politician promised you this, but he's doing this other thing. I think that's perfectly fine. But should there be other punishment? I don't know.
Well,
So I don't
what are
think
we
there should be
talking about?
punishment. Okay, listen. Listen. People, okay, Trump needs to be held responsible for doing shit like they just said, saying like, oh, I'm gonna release the Epstein files and the JFK files and the MLK files or whatever it was, and then not do. So that's one thing. But then he also said things like, oh, I'm gonna end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. I'm gonna do it before I even become the president. He's promising the end to literal wars where people are dying, and he's not following through with any of them. In fact, he's now bending the knee to Russia in other aspects. And in fact, we have other things in the future coming up with Russia, other treaties and stuff that we have to get signed on our behalf, or else we're going to see other dangerous things come out of that. I'm talking about the New START treaty specifically. But oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought because I got so excited. I got so excited about what I was talking about.
This is what I call a bloodlust Democrat. Okay,
A bloodlust.
bloodlust Democrat.
No.
Someone who
Like
wants to.
we can calm down.
Okay, someone who who gets so excited for the idea of punishing their enemies that they forget what they're saying.
Stupid. Anyway. So no, I think we should have something they have it in a couple of countries where they do something like a vote of no confidence. Yeah, a vote of no confidence where at a certain point you do a poll of, I guess, something like a midterm election for the person who's already in, and that person sees where they're at, and not any bullshit poll that whatever, but an actual countrywide kind of idea of where you are, and that should pretty much tell you what you need to do, or the fire gets lit under your ass to actually fit to get things going, or else you're going to get replaced.
I'm almost positive. Sorry, I am almost positive, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm familiar with the UK's vote of no confidence, but it doesn't really function the way that you're describing it. The way that it works is they're a parliamentary system, so they vote the party in rather than a specific candidate, and then the party can nominate a candidate for them, and then if that candidate doesn't, they can do it. The party can do a vote of no confidence for that candidate, and they would just replace them with a different member. So it's like the party's in control.
Okay.
Gotcha. So then yeah. So I don't know if it's the whole country gets to vote. I think it's either. I don't know if it's. I also don't even think it's the party in the whole country. I think it's. Just
I don't know about British parliamentary. I don't know about parliamentary.
I could be wrong. So. Someone feel free to correct me. I can look it up, but
I know there's something like that in France, because France earlier this year did that, and they kind of completely dumped their parliament that way.
I don't know, but I think that we do have in extreme cases we do have the 25th Amendment, and we do have articles of impeachment, and if we need to use them, they're there. Though it's incredibly hard to use either of these things, but that's just a artifact of our very binary, divided country right now. And I think that we're never going to fix the problem by continuously trying to punish, and I think it's just not going to work. It's going to exacerbate what's wrong. It's why we're suffering the way we are. It's because we've treated each other as just enemies. But
yeah, you do keep framing it like that, and I do think that others would frame it pretty fairly as justice. And I don't know if
that's what MAGA frames indicting Comey as justice. Right?
I agree.
They all
I
call it
100% agree. And you're gonna hate this answer, Wick. I know you're gonna hate this answer. Just are you bracing that you're gonna hate it? The difference is that we're right.
We're right and they're wrong. Okay, great.
I know.
Alish, thanks for calling in. Is there anything else you got for us before we let you go?
Every Republican should start with negative 1,000, 10,000 votes in every single election moving forward, and that's it.
You have my
Just kidding.
vote.
Okay,
Yep.
I'll talk to you later, Alan.
All right, see ya.
I can tell how much you hate this. I like your audience a lot more than I thought I would.
What did you think you? Hold on. What did you think you'd like my audience as? Do you think they're?
I thought your audience was a lot more conservative for sure.
I have conservative
I would
members of my
say-
audience.
I would say retarded is the word that I would use, but you know.
Okay. Welcome, caller. You're muted on your end, sir or madam. Nanya.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi. Okay. What you
Hello.
got?
So I basically wanted to talk about like either if you guys know of any, or I think this would be a really good idea to set up if it doesn't already exist, is some kind of timeline of the different events that are happening within the Trump administration, specifically based on the words of the people that are involved. Because I find a lot of the time when I'm arguing with like Trump supporters or conservatives or whatever, it's kind of the cliche nowadays of like, oh, in the past we were agreeing on the reality but not agreeing on what we wanted to do about reality, but at this point we're not even agreeing on reality. So having a kind of resource where it's like Trump said this, and then 3 days ago or 3 days after he said this, and then 3 days after, it was a completely different thing, because simply having that timeline, I think, would be really not even just useful for liberals or Democrats to be like, well, this is the proof, but if there's like infographics or whatever, the way that conservatives love to have infographics and little charts and stuff like that, I think that would be really useful.
I agree. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
He's like, I've got a job, dude. I can't do all this shit you're asking. Like what specific like you're looking for contradictions specifically? Because like
Yeah,
I have done stuff that you're kind of referring. Like I've made a couple TikTok videos on like the timeline of the Supreme Court justices on things that were 6-3, meaning that Donald Trump essentially allowed these to occur, and it's a timeline of all of the Supreme Court events that occurred. I also did a timeline of tariffs, of like him invoking a tariff and then refusing the tariff and then throwing it in, throwing it out, throwing it in, throwing it out, and like constantly being wishy-washy about that. I do think that we've done this in some degree, but I don't know exactly what you're advocating for here.
Well, it's I heard you guys talking a little bit earlier about the boat strikes and how, initially they had said there was no second strike, and then eventually they had to come out and say, yes, there was a second strike, but it wasn't ordered by Hegseth. And now at this point, it's basically coming out that, yes, it was Hegseth. The first example that I could think of from the Trump administration happened way back in, I think it was January or maybe even February, when did WikiLeaks happen?
The signal leaks. That was, I think.
I've never heard it.
That was like
WikiLeaks.
April,
Awesome.
something like that.
But yeah, it was really early in the Trump administration.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, this didn't happen. Oh no, that wasn't what was said. Oh, actually, that was what was said.
They
oh,
look.
Actually, it was this person's fault, not that person.
I agree with you that the Trump administration has a history of simply lying to the American people and being caught in their lies. But the problem we're facing is that, unfortunately, a lot of his base do not care. Now, I will say that I think that the general electorate kind of does, and they're punishing him for it, and they're punishing this administration for it, and they've stopped believing this administration when they start saying shit, and they're suffering consequences for that. But I think that there is, like, I don't know if a system like you want is something that would move the needle in an appreciable way. I could be wrong. I'm happy to do it just because it would be very useful for me, right? Because I could just go through it, right? But
yeah, and I think that's the thing with today's sort of super information society is that the first thing that people see about an event is usually what they take away, even if it comes out later that there are retractions or corrections. Even though like on Twitter we have things like community notes and things like that, a majority of the interactions around that are taking place like in the first few moments of it. So most of the people that are engaging with it aren't seeing any of that, and uh, having that kind of timeline where it's like this information is chronologically kept, that you can actually account for everything rather than just going off what your first impression was. um I don't know, maybe
It would be it
I
would
think
be
that,
useful
I think
in the same way that sourcing is also useful, always useful. $5, just real quick. $5 from Alish. Thank you for the $5. Says, I keep seeing people say repeal the 19th, and at this point I agree. Let men take full responsibility for voting in shitty people and see how it runs. Well, thank you for the $5, but you get to keep your vote, okay? And
oh brother.
I don't know.
what I will say as someone who's done things similar to what you're advocating for here is, I don't know if there's a lot of research that goes into that kind of stuff, and it takes a considerable amount of effort. I do think that sometimes I have seen timelines. I'm trying to think of a timeline that I saw, but I know I saw something that the New York Times compiled one time about events like this. Sometimes you'll see it and sometimes you won't, because sometimes people think it's necessary and sometimes people don't. So if you think it's necessary, I mean, I don't know if you've got a channel or anything
I
like
think
that.
I think that
It's
it
usually
would be
pretty valuable.
useful to have something that we could just look at with sources for the Hegseth, the boat strike, the second boat strike thing. Look at the Washington Post's initial stance on it, right? And then look at the initial denials by the administration, and then look at the initial admittance by the same administration, different officials later, and the kind of like evolution of their defense of it and what they're saying is. I think that would be useful, and maybe a little smaller scale. But yeah, if you want to do that, go for it. I'd
I
use
also
it.
suggest everyone. This is what I do. I've got this big Obsidian file just called Politics, and it's got like there's a document right now on it called Caribbean Sea Attacks, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different links in it, and like sort of like headlines and things like that when I'm tracking things, and I just kind of write things down when I notice things. But that's mostly because I'm like I do TikTok debates a lot, so I need to kind of keep track of this stuff. But I find it really helpful to organize my thoughts, to just sort of write down all the
Yeah,
things.
is there
But that's
anything
not
else?
for everyone.
Anything else you had for us, Nanya, or is that what you got?
Yeah, that was the main point that I wanted to make. I think, in terms of sort of the previous few calls about the punishment and all that, I think it's just fair to say they should be prosecuted to whatever level is like provable, right? I kind of agree with you, Wick, that sometimes it feels like people are like, oh well, these people need to go away no matter what. Even if it comes at the cost of like, the disgracing of our judicial process, that they should be prosecuted because they've done things that we don't like. Because, you know, even with like the Nuremberg trials, there was a huge section. I don't think it was any more than like 30% of the people that were put on trial were actually found not guilty, right? And that if you want to be in a society of like rule of law, you just kind of have to accept that sometimes you just don't have enough to prosecute everyone that you think did something bad. And we can't we can't like go further than we need to, because that makes anything we do past that point fruit of the poisonous tree.
True. Well, thank you for calling.
I will say, by the way, just that was my point in the Destiny debate. I bring that up to him where I'm like, dude, the Nuremberg trials were less severe than what you're describing right here. And those
crazy.
were for Nazis.
And
well,
look,
yeah, and I think that on the timeline piece, that sort of it's connecting, because a lot of what happened with the Nuremberg trial was not people confessing their crimes, right? It was almost always not guilty when they were giving their plea. It was using their own words, their own reports, their own things that they had signed on, the amount of people that were killed in this day on that camp, right? It is enough to just have that evidence of what people have done based on what they've said and what they've signed to be able to put these people away. We don't have to have them like repenting to us, you know.
Okay, well, thanks for calling in, brother.
Thank you.
Okay. And gang, remember, this is a call-in show, so if you want to call in, all you have to do is click that link that I have pinned in the YouTube or ! Discord in the Twitch chat. You click that link, you accept the rules by clicking on my little face emoji when you go to the rules page, and then you jump backstage. And once you're backstage, when it's your turn, we'll just pull you back in. So that's how you do it. And remember to come in and give us your thoughts, give us your issues that you have with us, etc. But let's bring in the next caller. Hello, you're live. You were muted on your end. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Hello?
hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
I can.
Okay, how is my voice? Okay, or like, can
It
you
sounds
hear me?
beautiful.
What do you got for us?
I like it a lot.
Okay, thanks. I'm gonna try to not trigger Wick, but I am. I get the impression that he's not MAGA apologist, but it's his behavior or his opinions come close to it. So
Wix?
Yeah. So I was
Okay,
wondering
give us your strongest piece of evidence that I am a MAGA, or close, I should say, to being a MAGA apologist. What position that I've taken?
It's not an apologist, but it's like if you know the behavior is indistinguishable. I feel like, but I don't want to.
Sure. Well,
like
can you give
strawman,
me
so
an
maybe-
example of what you're talking about?
Sure, or okay, sure, I could do that. But I was wondering if maybe we should start with maybe I'm misrepresenting your position.
Well,
maybe it's
yeah,
better
give
to,
us the position
It's
in
kinda-
question.
It's
that
kind
you
of hard
have.
to defend something that's sort of so nebulous.
Yeah, give us the definition,
Okay.
or not the
okay,
definition,
fair
but
enough. But
yeah, give us what the contention is. Like what?
Like, I
stance
agree
that
with you, but
have.
I'll stick up for Wick a little bit right now.
You don't have to. I can
Okay.
defend myself. I just want to know what I've said or done that you think
Okay,
is MAGA apology adjacent.
all right, like for reference, I don't think you are MAGA, but it's is that if I didn't know more about you, then I wouldn't be able to easily distinguish. So okay, I'm gonna try to come up with a good example. For example, okay, right. So it are you against politicians being held accountable, or like or okay, here, let me say this. Do you think that politicians should if they break the law, that they should
Yes, if politicians break the
face
law,
trial?
they should be held accountable in a court of law. Yes.
That sounds just like MAGA Wick.
Right. Okay. Nice. That's a good step one. But then I feel like you are arguing that, but we shouldn't do it now because that would.
Well, first of all, when we get power back, I think is the first thing that needs to happen, because we can't do anything until we do that, right? You'd agree? Like, we can't do anything.
By the way, I should probably. I'm not from America.
We can tell.
But
that's okay.
What? Yes.
Right?
Okay. Yes. Okay.
I can't tell.
So if
I think an accent,
Yes,
you can be an accented foreigner and be an
I
American.
mean,
Don't
it's
you,
possible.
Wick?
It's possible.
Oh, Codman 4K.
I guess it's possible.
This guy
but,
thinks that if you
he's
immigrate
already
here, you're
seated
not
that
American.
he's not American, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You still have an
But you
opinion.
said you could tell.
But it's okay.
But no.
American podcasters
Can
are
I just
Canadian
ask
anyway,
you,
so
like,
it's
just
fine.
real
I got
quick,
'em.
like, you acknowledge that we can't do anything right now because we don't have any power.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, when we do get power, okay, I want the cases against Trump and Lauren Chen and the others that were dropped because Trump got into power. I would be okay with them being reopened. I don't have anything wrong with that.
But you don't think it's a good strategy, or?
No, I think that's fine strategy. I mean, it wouldn't be my focus, but it's something we should do.
You just seem so ambivalent over it. That's
Well,
more the.
what do you want me to do, right? Like, what do you want me to be? Like, yeah, let's get them. No, I mean, like, look, it's important.
A little bit, Wick.
I just think that it's more important.
If they committed a crime, if they committed a crime, why isn't that obviously they should face trial?
I'm not disagreeing with you, man. But my advocacy is that the focus of Democratic Party should be on good governance, which means kitchen table issues. That's what we should message on. That's what we should lead on. And what we don't want to do is the same mistake that MAGA made and go on a revenge tour. I don't think that will help. I think that we will end up with the same fate that MAGA has electorally.
My personal belief is that is not MAGA's mistake.
Well, it's one of many mistakes they've made. Like, this is a problem, is you can point to many mistakes MAGA has made. I think this is one.
I could point to 1,000 more critical mistakes that they have made.
Yeah. But go on, caller. Okay, so what do you think I just really want to know what position that I have is MAGA apologist or MAGA apologist adjacent?
Maybe it's too harsh to say it's apologist because I don't think you are, but
you want to offend me, man? Just spit it out. What you got?
Okay, damn. Okay, Jesus. Yes, no, but I mean, if I were to ask,
Hunter, you can call me Hunter.
If I were to ask someone someone that is MAGA, but I don't know. It feels like you've given up. Basically, I don't know what to say. Like, it feels like you. Do you have any?
I don't know what you mean by giving up. Like, I'm here every day trying to win.
No. You have, okay, fine. Like, maybe people's ideas are bad, but do you have any? Do you not? I discussed a little bit with adjacent with Hobbit follower, like one of the Destiny mods, about this, and he has roughly the same idea. And I feel like the debate conclusion was basically yeah, we should just give up because there's nothing we can do.
Okay, that's I feel not my conclusion. That's not my stance, to be clear. My stance is that we should prosecute people who have committed actual crimes in the Trump administration, including, it's looking more and more like Pete Hegseth, who looks more and more like he's committed an actual war crime. I think he should go to jail for that. Not only him, but I think everyone who followed his order should go to jail for that, or at least be put on trial for that. I think that is something that we need to do. Trump, I think the cases against him in the classified files case should be reopened, and we should continue pushing on that, right? If you can point to me crimes that Pam Bondi or Kash Patel or any of these other people have done, I'm open to having trials for them. But what I'm against is this kind of across-the-board punitive trial for supporting Trump. I think that is not only unconstitutional, I think that is just poor strategic. Like, that's a poor strategy.
I feel like punitive is an odd adjective to throw in there, because like it would obviously have to be punitive, right?
I mean, like
if we're talking about,
are you mad at the adjective that I used? I could use a different one if you like. I'm not sold on it.
No, that's fine. I'm saying if it does seem like one of your issues is aesthetics of your argument. So I am in some ways trying to help you out, but also pointing out that when you say we shouldn't be punitive, that I understand how some people might be able to interpret that. Now I'm a Wick apologist, which makes me a MAGA apologist.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, by
apparently
extension.
the strategy.
There's a transitivity of apologia.
Okay, I didn't know that you were okay with Trump.
I know a lot of people have misrepresented my view.
So you are okay with Trump? That's what he just said.
Oh no, I'm not. Okay, you know,
I'm just
I
joking,
know what
sorry.
he meant. You know what he meant. Okay,
Of course I did. I'm just being a jackass.
I know. But what else you
Okay,
got for
no,
me?
but the
What
thing is-
what other evidence that you have that I'm a MAGA apologist? Go ahead.
No, but the thing is, it's your response that rubs me the wrong way, because I don't know. I feel like you said yes, but you said it so. But like you can say something.
I
that you
don't
have to mean.
I
be
don't
more
know,
excited.
man. Like, what do
You
you
got to be a
want?
little bit hard when you
No, but
when
like
you say I need to
asked,
take
like,
over.
Do you think we should like hold politicians to break the law? And I think you said like sure.
Yeah, we should hold politicians
I was
to
like,
break
okay,
the law
I mean,
accountable.
I don't know.
I don't know what you want from me. I legit don't know what you want from me here.
No, but like if I don't know. Like if I
Yeah,
okay,
man,
like,
I don't know either.
Like if I said okay, should politicians not murder people? Yeah, sure. Or I don't know. I was like, what do you mean? Like, no, I don't know. That's,
Well,
okay,
the
so
reason
we-
I'm
so
not
we-
like because you're just saying things that are obvious. Like, oh, you think the sky is blue? Yeah.
Okay. Maybe
The
that
world,
is-
the Earth is
Okay, maybe
a
it is
globe.
obvious.
Yeah, sure. I mean, what? Like,
No,
these
I
are
thought it
known
was obvious as
quantities. I
well,
don't
but-
think they're really debatable. Yeah, sure.
Okay, but the thing is that Hobbit, for example, I don't know. Now it's like okay, it's become my non-Americanism becomes apparent. Hobbit says that basically it's we can't you can't hold trials for Trump or anyone he pardons, so it doesn't matter anyway.
So when it comes
Sorry,
to
who's
the
saying
pardon
that?
power, he's correct. And if Trump pardons himself, there's very little legal recourse that we have. But that's an issue with the pardon power.
Right. Okay.
I have a question, Wick.
Sorry.
Sorry. I have a question, Wick. Do you think that Congress should pass a law that presidents are not able to pardon themselves and actually heavily restrict?
I think you need a
pardons?
constitutional amendment to do that, but I think that there should.
Okay.
Look, I'm
Are you for that?
A-okay and on board with changing the pardon power for all presidents so that they can't just pardon as willy-nilly as they have. I'm okay with reining that in and making a constitutional amendment to adjust that power. But the thing is, it would have to be a constitutional amendment.
Okay. Hot take. I don't know the utility of the pardon power. Like, I don't know if there's a lot
I
of
was going to
times where
ask
it's
that.
been
Like, why is that?
where
a
it's
thing
been
then?
positive.
I
It's
don't
very,
look.
It's one of the checks and balances of the president on the judicial system, but to me, it's almost always been abused. And it feels very strange. I don't like it. Like,
yeah,
the
but it's
president already can-
unfortunately, I agree with you. But unfortunately, it's there in Constitution. It's there.
I understand. No,
It's
I
not-
understand that. I think that's an is-ought. Like, you're saying
Yeah.
is, I'm saying ought.
Okay. Well,
I agree that it's probably, but I'll throw my hands up and say, why is that there? We should probably change that. It's a little weird that Trump can just pardon George Santos and say, well, he's a Republican, so, or Ross
Mhm.
Ulbricht.
well,
or,
caller, thank you for calling in, dear sir,
Thank you.
and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Okay.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
See, this is the thing. Like, and we're gonna get to the last caller in a second, but a lot of people have weird ideas about my
I agree. That was
positions.
kind of funny. Like, I do think I disagree with you, but like people gotta understand where you're coming from a little bit more.
Hold on, well, if you
That
think
is-
that I'm a
that is
MAGA
really funny.
apologist, I don't know what to tell you, right? Like,
Well, no. I think
you've never
well, look,
paid attention to my show, and I'm not saying
Here's the-
you as
here's
in
the
you
thing.
specifically. I'm saying just you in general. Like, if someone's coming in here thinking I'm running apologia for MAGA, have you not heard any of my positions? I don't know what to
I
tell
will
you.
say you should be more strict on MAGA, and sometimes you do run defense for them a little bit. I do
Hold
think
on.
sometimes you go,
I will run defense for drug smugglers in
Sure.
the sense that they should get due process and that they shouldn't just be
Well,
randomly nuked from orbit. Even
little
though
bit of
I am not sympathetic to drug smugglers,
I
I don't
understand
like
that.
drug smugglers. I think they're scum, but I will, quote unquote, defend them if their rights are being violated.
Will you call Trump supporters scum?
Some of them are, yes.
Okay, well, would you say all drug smugglers are scum?
No, some I'm sure are doing it because they have no other recourse and they can need to feed their families or some shit.
All right.
But a lot of them are scum.
I guess. Look, all I'll say is I wish that you were I wish that you had a little bit.
I know
of
you
moron
guys
when
want
you
me to
talked
be
about-
mean, and I don't. I'm
little
not a
bit.
mean guy.
Not that mean. I want you to be vengeful. Not vengeful.
Oh,
you
okay,
guys
mute.
want-
Hold on. Metalworks. You gotta mute the stream. Brother.
Yeah, I was just getting my camera. Is it on?
And your camera's not.
We can
on,
hear you.
but we can
Oh,
hear
yeah.
you.
Where's the camera on?
I don't know. Your camera's not on.
Okay. Well, that's. Wait, what if I do this?
It seems to be. Oh,
Oh,
yes,
it's on.
working.
We can see you now,
Cool.
brother. Okay, what do you got
All
for
right.
us, sir?
So, the thing you were talking about earlier about like why does the president have the pardoning power? I think I'm going to go on a limb here.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the president didn't have this much power that it has right now. It used to have a lot less power, and Congress kept giving it more and more power, and it shouldn't have done that. And now we're in a situation where we're looking at things like the pardoning power, wondering like why does he have this among everything else? I don't even think he used to be able to, was the president always the commander in chief, or was that something that was given to him?
That's in the Constitution. He's commander in chief. That's constitutional.
Okay. So
he also gets pardons in Article 2.
Yeah.
I just looked that up. I wasn't
Yep.
sure. So, but yeah,
Yeah, but the fact that it took forever to limit how many terms a president can have, that's kind of new. That only happened in World War II.
100 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, is still technically relatively new. But,
Sure.
and I don't like how people keep acting like the only thing we can be doing is focusing on what we're going to do about Trump and his administration. I'm like you, Wick. I'd rather just focus on policy. It's not going to be effective if all we're doing is trying to arrest these people when people's bills aren't getting better. We still have all kinds of issues with like healthcare. Like the fact that healthcare is still a problem in this country. That Trump sucks up all the air in the room with every bad, and I assume he's going to do bad things. I would assume every day he's going to do something. Oh, that's nice.
Donald Trump is
Constitution. Trump, yeah, another constitutional crisis. That's great. That's all I want. Every day is a new constitutional crisis. Every day he's pushing the boundaries. I guess the blessing in disguise is now we can have the discussion of what to do with these problems. But there's something we can get out of this at least. But I feel like this fixation on getting these people arrested and convicting them and not focusing on the bigger picture, like what our constituents cares about getting fixed, I think is a lot more important. I'd rather not spend political capital chasing after Trump, especially if he does pardon all these people and makes it even more difficult to go after them. I just think it's just a waste of time. And I wish we had more people, looking what Ezra Klein's trying to do, figuring out how we can better legislate. The fact that from that book Abundancy that he have, like the fact that is a problem that the Biden administration, I don't remember all the details, but the fact that the Biden administration had all these problems trying to get something simple as internet throughout this country is abysmal. And it took forever, and the money for it just went into the void and everything. I'm more worried about Republicans running on the fact that we can't legislate the things that we want because they put stuff into them into oblivion to the point where they can't function or we can't get anything done. I think we need to start fixing how we legislate better.
So I'll throw something out. You talk a lot about how you can't walk and chew gum at the same time. what if we just fully leave it up to the Department of Justice? I mean, it's not like they're legislating.
That's fine.
Okay, cool. So let's leave it up to the Department of Justice to fully attack the Trump administration as much as humanly possible, and then leave it up to legislators to focus on kitchen table issues. And then look, we watch and
hold
chew
on, just
gum
real quick,
at the same
just real
time.
quick, please. It's those statements that you make, man. Like as much as humanly possible. No,
I stand by it.
Not as
Well,
much as
yeah.
humanly possible. As much as
as constitutionally possible. Don't break the law.
As
Don't
much
break
as
the
it
law.
doesn't
I'm not
distract from
advocating
getting
for
more
breaking the
different
law
things
even after
done.
going after Trump. I think that would be a bad idea.
I think as long as it doesn't distract from getting things done, the DOJ can do whatever it needs to do. That's fine.
Yeah, but
as long as it doesn't.
it's just such a truism to say. Like I don't even know like what substantively we're even talking about. I think that it maybe depends on the district as well. Like maybe some districts are maybe a little bit more vengeful than others. I would definitely look at more like hard blue districts rather than like kind of the more purpley ones. I assume the more purpley ones are going to have to talk about kitchen table issues and not necessarily just being anti-Trump. I think that was a huge issue that Kamala had. I agree with most people, most analysts, that she was just kind of anti-Trump and didn't stand for a lot of policies on her own. I think that her policies were pretty decent, but again, that's the messaging issue that we talk about a lot. But as long as we're hitting those kitchen table issues, I don't know. I look at the administration, I look at how many precedents they're breaking, how many guardrails that they're just aggressively tearing down and running the car off of the road. And I'm wondering, like, I don't know if I have an answer here, but I'm open to a lot of different ideas about what specifically we can do to make sure that those guardrails stay up and that we prosecute people who drove us off the road. I don't know, and if we don't have prosecutorial power, I don't know. I'm open to a lot of ideas. And I think.
Well, no. What's your idea? What's your answer? Okay, so we've won the election. The power is about to change hands, and Trump's like, I'll just pardon everyone in my administration. They're all pardoned, including me. What then? What do you do?
Focus on Epstein files. That's probably the most bipartisan thing.
The answer, Wick, and I know you might just hate this, that I'm being critical without a plan. I don't know, but I will hear so many different ideas on that day. I will go, that's a good idea. Let's hear it. Like I'm so much more open to Steven's meme idea of just ensuring that no Republican can ever run again if they stood for Trump than you, for sure. I like the little. I mean, look here. This is a for sure meme position. Everyone starts with a 10,000 deficit. I on that day I'd go. He just pardoned every single member of his cabinet, including him. This is worse than Richard Nixon. This is worse than any level of corruption that we've ever possibly seen. I don't know what it's going to take to go after these people. I don't know, but it's going to be something drastic. And I'm not advocating for breaking the law. I'm not advocating for any type of violence whatsoever. I am advocating for using our political capital to ensure that the constitutional crisis that we're having every day never happens again. That's what I think is a huge priority for the next administration.
So I think a big factor we need to focus on there, if we're going to be doing that kind of stuff, we need to focus on the fact that he is not an outsider anymore. Trump is an elitist. He is part of the system. He has used it greatly to, we need to get that outsider status away from him. If we're going to, like you just said, he just pardoned everyone. I mean, how can he do that? I thought the deep state had control of everything. We need to start being tactful on what we use, and we can.
But you are though. Like I hear what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying, but I'm also saying that we have been doing that for the last 10-something fucking years with Trump. We're like, why is he coming in as a working man? This guy is a fucking he grew up with $1 million loan from his dad, and he lives in a gold temple with his name etched on the side to it. let's fucking be so for real. And that messaging hasn't worked for 10 years. It's been somewhat effective, but I'm saying I don't know if messaging is the only thing that we like. I don't know. At some point, we have to be talking about something a little bit more tangible.
I'm just saying, have the messaging roll into something that we're trying to do. And the reason why I keep bringing up the Epstein files is that it has bipartisanship. Everyone in this country hates pedophiles. There's no getting way around that. I didn't think that was going to be the thing that really screwed up his administration, but it has. It has given us tangible results. So many people on the right has left. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene left. The fact that you mentioned earlier, Trump, like 20 Republicans just left. Like that he keeps spending political capital, and we can capitalize on him spending that political capital.
I hear what you're saying, but at what point are we Lucy and Charlie? You know what I'm saying? Like, how you're like, this is the one thing that's going to do Trump in, where he's going to lose his base, he's going to lose his support. I don't think I think that Trump was spitting when he says I can just shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and not lose a single supporter. He's bleeding dry supporters in that a very pure red state is now purplish, right? A lot of like the Tennessee special election happened recently where it started becoming a little bit more purple, but Republicans still won it in a landslide. Like Republicans are still winning.
To be clear, we ran probably the worst candidate in Tennessee, a progressive who flirted with the idea of defund the police and who hated Nashville.
And who say that she hated Nashville. For
sure.
It was
a shit show. Okay.
She also won the primary, so I don't know what to tell you. Like,
I understand. This is part of the reason why we have to and I'm speaking to you liberals, the hard R liberals out there, the moderates out there. I'm speaking to you guys. Yeah. Primaries matter. Show up and vote.
1,000,000%. Shout out, yes. 1,000,000%, Wick.
Don't let these weirdo progressives ruin our chances.
Everyone fucking complains about how Bernie Sanders didn't get any sort of support in the primaries. Maybe that's because his entire fucking voting base didn't show up to the primaries.
Yeah, the youth.
Hold on, just real quick.
The youth
in chat,
invested in didn't show up.
In chat, you're saying they didn't win in a landslide? She lost by 10 points.
Yeah, what are we talking? Like,
that's
in
a
Tennessee,
fucking landslide,
that's
bro.
a big deal. Like, I agree that it should have been 20, 30 points. It should have been a lot given Tennessee's usual standing.
But we could have won. Like, okay, maybe not one, but we could have gotten to within like 1 or 2, right?
Maybe.
I'm almost positive we could have if we just ran a moderate, but we didn't. We decided to run someone who had zero chance of winning, and a chance in one where it was a long shot. I'll grant you, but there was a chance. I don't know.
I hear you. I don't know if that's like. I don't know how to interact with that. I don't know if a Democrat could have
by electing moderates into primaries.
That's your claim, but I could also claim that a ton of more like DSA socialists are mobilizing more disenfranchised voters than a moderate.
So here's what we got. We have data on the last all the special elections since 2025. Do you know the lowest performing special elections we've ever had are DSA candidates?
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's not maybe. We have the data on this. There was one in Florida, and there was the Tennessee one. They performed well under all the other special elections that we've had in 2025.
If you think I'm advocating for just run DSA socialists every single time, I don't know what to, like. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying whatever. She was a little bit more reasonable than I think Wick is clarifying. But it doesn't matter because we agree that it was a landslide that the Republicans still won. And that is unacceptable given the state of the Republican Party. And we should all look at our hands and go, why are we have blood on it. We have blood on our hands. Just like
my hands are clean, bitch. Okay, I don't know what you're telling.
No, wait, we're failing the country by having so many fucking Republicans. Like something is going wrong with our messaging. Something is going wrong with
you aren't listening to me as much as you should, and you keep doing things that I tell you won't work.
That's the issue.
That is, unironically, gang, unironically, if everyone in the Democratic Party swung and started listening to Wick, and they just took my advice on every single thing, they would win.
Just run moderates 100% of the time?
Yes, just that. It sounds simple, right? But if you took every single district in this country and you ran a moderate Democrat, you would win by. Do you remember 1984 Reagan election? Okay,
I do remember.
That would be the margins you're looking at there. Okay,
Yeah. I hear you. Wait, the question that I have is only in pretty red districts, right? Is it a mistake to run DSA socialists?
I think it's a mistake to run DSA socialists everywhere. But that's
Okay,
just
so
me.
it's like you're so biased in one direction.
Yeah, I don't like
know why we're
socialists.
Right.
Socialists are bad.
But they're
Yes,
like
they
barely
are.
socialist. They're not real socialists in that they're fucking like marching for the CCP. They're just saying
So then why
let's-
call themselves socialist?
because words are dynamic and they matter based on the context that they exist in. Like, I don't know what to tell you that like certain labels mean something to some groups outside of other groups. I don't think Mamdani's a fucking raging communist. I think that he's a pretty reasonable lib, and maybe he's got some dumb ideas that I disagree with, but he's far more reasonable than the socialists who call themselves socialists on Twitter, for sure.
The only people
That's my
socialists could
personal
beat,
opinion.
the only people socialists ever beat are a left. They only ever win the primaries, right?
Well, that's what I
They
just said,
won't-
right?
I
They
wanted to
won't
talk
win.
about that for a second.
They won't, just real quick, they won't win a general election outside of like the deepest blue state you've ever seen.
Okay. So then
Anyway.
why don't we run them there?
Because I like the
You
the
just don't
moderate's
like 'em.
position
You just
better.
don't like them.
And-
So I'm
no,
saying- I just
unironically,
feel like-
because I don't like them, you understand that even local elections can have national consequences. Look at Mamdani, right? There are a lot of people who are going to pin the Democratic Party on
I don't know if
Mamdani and say,
It's a
look,
little
they're
unfair
all
to call that a
Mamdanis.
local election. Like, I get he's a mayor, but he's also the mayor of the biggest city in America.
Mm. Okay.
Like,
Anyway,
I don't know
caller.
if that's the microcosm of local elections in America. It is technically a local election, but you can't just say local election matters. Let's look at Mamdani. Like, that's the biggest local election. Period.
Okay. Here's the
Is
problem.
the mayor of New York.
Mamdani won with a less of a vote than any other candidate in that election. And by that election, I mean that day of
Wait,
elections.
say that one more time.
He had the least amounts of, like, he won by the least amount. I think even Jay Jones
Won by
more
the
than
least.
him.
Sorry. In the gotcha.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying now?
Yeah,
that
maybe
day, during
I
that
don't
day
know.
when the votes dropped, and we had a Spanberger, and we had Jay Jones, we had all those elections, the lieutenant governor and then we had Mikkel, what's her name in Jersey? I forget her name. Even Pennsylvania, we had special elections, right? All of them just were like double digits, except for Jay Jones, right? Except for Jay Jones and Mamdani.
Okay. Is AOC a DSA socialist to you? Do you not like AOC?
I like AOC more now than when she initially ran because she's demonstrated she's willing to actually play the game, right? And she's
I
demonstrated
100%
a
agree.
level of competence.
I think she's also moderated over time.
Yeah, and
Because
she's
she used to
absolutely
want
moderated.
to. She used. There was a quote of her saying that she wants to get away from capitalism, and go to like a real socialist, capitalist-free society, which is nuts to me. But it looks like she's tempered that. But
I just feel like we never are really. I think we're always talking past each other every time we say the word socialism. Like, I don't know if there's ever a time where we're genuinely meeting each other where we're at. Like, when AOC said that, I don't know if she meant. Let's be like Cuba. I think that it's very possible. I don't know what she meant, but it's very possible that she was saying, let's be more like the Nordic countries.
no,
I don't know.
It was really like
I don't know.
she wanted to achieve like the socialist goal of getting away from capitalism. I need
Yeah,
to
but
find
I've
that
met
quote.
so many socialists.
It's very old, and I don't think she believes in that anymore. Right? It looks like
Okay.
she's clearly evolved from it. That's what I'm trying to
Okay,
say.
$5.
Sure.
Right.
$5 from Alishness, just real quick, to say, of course, online people hate socialism. It has the word social in it, which the terminally online are not. Thank you for the $5. Anyway, go ahead.
Please.
Last word, Metalworks, please.
Okay, so I think the reason why Mamdani won wasn't because he was a socialist. I think he won because he was a passionate candidate. He wasn't an established candidate. He had a kind of a fire to him. You also had, Cuomo? I think another problem that we need to start addressing is, as much as I don't like the kind of far left and kind of the woke type of Democrats, I don't like the elitist type of Democrats that are still kind of thumbing around the party. I remember talking to my mother about how she was upset that they had the DNC convention in Washington, and she did not consider that a very blue-collar estate, very kind of elitist and upper crust. And she thinks the more older part of the Democrat Party is out of touch, and I think she might be onto something. And that is why you're going to have people, and especially with Cuomo's history, of course, Mamdani was going to beat him. He was a shit candidate. He was awful. I think Mamdani had it in the bag. And as I said, he had very interesting campaigning, ads. He was very affable and charming. And I think if we had moderates that were passionate and charming, kind of like Obama, I think you'll start seeing Democrats winning elections more. I don't think it really matters if they're socialists or liberals, which bothers me. It matters is how good they are, how charismatic they are. Charisma matters in politics. It's how you sell yourself matters the most in politics. And looking good and carrying a sort of aura around you is very important. Policy isn't the only thing that matters. And we seem to keep forgetting that. It's how you deliver your message and how you get it out there. We more what Mamdani is doing, less, Pokemon go to the polls. Like with the stuff that Hillary did, that was like abysmal.
I don't disagree with any of that.
I
works. Yeah.
I 1,000,000% agree, which I think is why saying just like we shouldn't run Democratic Socialists is sort of a non-starter, because it really depends on the Democratic Socialists. And like in some cases they will do better than moderates, and in others they will do abysmally. Like
hold on.
And
wait,
hold on. In deep red districts, I largely agree with you.
99% of the cases, the moderate will outperform the DSA candidate.
I think that's largely true, sure. But I also think that if you find a really motivated, I think Graham Plattner's like a pretty good example of like someone who is a lot more.
Plattner's going to lose. If he wins the nomination, he will lose.
Is that the guy with the tattoos?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It can't be Plattner.
All I'm saying, Wick, is that you're very biased.
I am
it's
biased.
Okay. We're all biased. We're all
in the
biased
same way I'm biased.
He likes liberalism.
Hold on. Yes, in the same way.
Wait, hold on. I think we're very compatible when it comes to our politics. But I'm saying it's sometimes a little disingenuous, and I hear this from fucking communists the same way. They go, "We would just win if we just put in our fucking," and then they put their exact detailed political prescription of exactly what they would want, and it's like, damn it!
Every
like
political
why?
subgroup says that though.
Yeah, everyone has their own fucking subgroup, and they say if you just nominate someone that has my subgroup and my policy prescriptions, we will win elections. And I'm willing to say that Mamdani does not have my policy prescriptions, but he was the right guy because he has the fucking charisma. He's got the fire.
That's what I'm saying.
I could have won against Cuomo. A
passionate candidate will win.
Oh, please!
I could have won against
you couldn't
Cuomo.
Have, Wick.
Okay, thanks, Bellworks, for calling in. I appreciate it.
God damn it!
I could have won against Cuomo. Anyone could have won against Cuomo. He ran a fine campaign, right? But let's not act as if
Mamdani had an incredible campaign.
No,
and
the incredibleness of his campaign was he had the worst opponents you could possibly have.
And his marketing and advertisement were top notch. And I can't believe that you don't think that Mamdani is a genuinely incredible politician.
He did fine.
When it comes to messaging and advertisement and
hold on. You are ascribing so much to him. In any other race in this country, he gets beat the fuck out.
I don't think that's the case. I disagree with you.
And see,
okay.
I agree with you.
Wait, hold on.
Let me get this out because you talked a lot and I haven't been able to say, right, respond to you, right?
Go ahead. I apologize.
No, it's fine. You can interrupt me. It's fine. I'll just interrupt you back. But here's the thing. Like when I say, hey, if you run moderates, you have a higher chance of winning in 99% of the races. I am willing to put a carve out of 1% to say in cases like Cuomo, right, or in cases where you have a uniquely bad moderate candidate, then probably we should not run them and we should maybe look for other options, right? But the reason I say that is because I have data to back it up, right? I have actual election results to back it up. When a DSA or a commie or a socialist says that, oh, if only we ran our guys that they would win, they have no data to back it up because they continuously underperform, right? Even when they win. And they very rarely win.
Okay, I do want to say there's to me, there's a huge distinction between like a person like AOC and a person like Nina Turner. Okay, do you know? Am I thinking of the right person? Nina Turner. She's so
No,
fucking...
Nina Turner's a bad person. Yes.
Yeah, she's so
Crazy.
fucking... She's so annoying. She has no ways to like. She's bad at messaging. She's bad at politics. She's bad at virtually everything, and she's vapid and weak. And if that's your prototypical DSA candidate, I'll hear it. I do think that that's the majority of the DSA candidates. But if you find someone like Ilhan Omar or like AOC or other DSA members, I think that it's fair to say that they're probably going to do better than their moderate opponents, even in purple districts. Now, in deep red, obviously DSA just can't win. And maybe it was probably a mistake to run someone like that in Tennessee.
Hold on,
but I don't know if it's always the case.
Hold on, you said something weird there, and I want to see if you actually meant it. So if you have a purple state, like say Pennsylvania is a very purple state, and you could choose whether to run AOC or Josh Shapiro, who would you pick?
Wait, hold on. I would choose Josh Shapiro. Can I ask a new question?
Ask.
Who would I rather choose to run? AOC or Fetterman? I think I would choose AOC.
Okay,
AOC Fetterman is extremely
every
weak.
Single time Fetterman has a chance.
I think Fetterman is an extremely weak candidate. I think he's lost so much support recently, and I don't think he's
nationally,
got the fire
but
anymore.
Not where it matters for him, which is Pennsylvania.
Maybe I don't know. I haven't seen polling, but I would be willing to suspect.
Then how can you say that he's lost so much support?
Well,
you haven't seen polling.
Nationally. I think polling nationally is Fetterman's doing really poorly, and I also think he's a weak candidate. I think that most people perceive him as being pretty feckless and a MAGA.
So first of all, for a little history, Fetterman was the extremist candidate that primaried our moderate, right? And he won in 2018. He primaried, I think it was 2018. He primaried Connor Lamb, okay? Connor Lamb was my primary vote, okay? It didn't win. We got Fetterman, but Fetterman was running against a uniquely bad candidate, Oz.
Yeah,
Oz was terrible.
That guy sucks.
Okay?
I agree with you.
Even some guy who just had a stroke could have won against Oz, okay? Let's be real.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Okay? But here's the thing.
Fetterman that you elected and the Fetterman
here's the thing.
Different.
AOC in a purple district has no chance of winning.
I would run. Okay, fine. I'll use an example like Kristen Sinema. I would choose AOC over Kristen Sinema any day.
Hold on. And
I think she would win.
Nevada?
I think she would win. Huh?
Do you think AOC would win in Nevada?
It doesn't. This isn't real because AOC's from New York. It doesn't. None of this makes sense.
Okay, an AOC-like person.
Yeah.
Right? Who's from Nevada, but identical in every way to AOC.
5 years ago.
You would run her instead of the person who won Nevada?
Arizona, but yes.
Or Arizona,
I'm sorry. It's Nevada. Sorry, it is Nevada.
Okay. Why are you correcting me when I'm correct?
Because I'm so used to correcting people on Nevada that I just like I like defaulted to go, you fucking East Coasters think you know how to pronounce Nevada, and then you were right. So I'm sorry about that. I do apologize.
My issue, and this is a broader issue. It's not just with you, right? My issue is that we have spoilers in the Democratic Party. So we're fighting a two-front war here. We're not only fighting against MAGA and the Republicans, but we're fighting against the
losers
far
like
left.
Jasmine Crockett.
Oh God, don't get me started. The far left, okay? The far left would rather us lose than a moderate win.
I agree sometimes. I agree depends on the person we're talking to. I agree when it comes to Nina Turner. I agree when it comes to Jasmine Crockett. I don't agree when it comes to more competent people of the DSA. Now, if you want to say that's an oxymoron, well, you'd be wrong.
Can you give me an example other than AOC?
Ilhan Omar, any one of the squad, Mamdani.
Is Ilhan Omar a DSA candidate?
I'd be shocked if she...
Let me look.
Who has great takes on housing development, by the way. She's been an abundance nerd for a lot longer than abundance has been around.
No, she's not a member of the DSA.
Okay, fine.
She's supported by the DSA, right? They
Well, I don't.
champion her, but I don't think she's a. I'm not seeing anything.
She's not a card-carrying member.
Yeah, she's not a member.
Whatever. I think that it's fair enough to call her a DSA candidate.
Oh, okay. $2
She's
from
supported by the
MetaWorks to say
DSA.
it really depends on how they run their campaign. Like obviously,
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
well, no, because there are baselines, right? And like you start from a position of weakness if you were running an AOC candidate in Pennsylvania.
You start from
You
a position of
yes,
weakness.
you have to.
You start at negative 10,000 votes.
You
and then you
unironically
climb your way
yes. Unironically,
But
you
AOC
start
was able to usurp
negative because you carry the baggage of your positions.
Let's even say, you know what? I will actually agree with you. I will actually fully agree with you. But I am saying someone like AOC brings in 24,000 votes, and someone like your bullshit, like the worst of the moderates, brings in 6,000. So even with the negative 10,000 deficit, they're still able to clinch. That's all I'm saying, that sometimes you can overcome that deficit and actually come out ahead over the moderates. And those realities exist. And I don't know why you can't be a little bit nuanced about
Because
this
they
and recognize
don't.
that sometimes
Only 1%. Only 1% of the
but
time.
that 1% is my claim, isn't
Okay.
it?
I am advocating for a 99% win rate. Okay. I'm advocating
That's not
for.
that's not how that
I'm
fucking- you can't
advocating
just
for
take that
a
99%
for
and
a
say you're gonna
strategy that
win
works
99%.
better than the other strategy in 99% of the cases.
But can't I say that I'm advocating for fiery candidates, and that is 100% of the winners?
no,
and then I just-
not always
and then I
is
just-
a fiery candidate the winner.
99.99 to 1.
Josh Shapiro
It
ain't very
is.
fire, but he's got one of the highest approval ratings we've ever
Josh Shapiro's
seen in
fucking
Pennsylvania.
great.
Some constituencies
We're probably
do
talking
not
about it,
want a firebrand. They just don't.
I agree with you. I fully agree with you. Just why I'm saying that it's based off of the district, and some districts want maybe a little bit of a fiery candidate, maybe a little bit of a firecracker.
Here,
who
you want to
goes,
hear fiery, man? You want to hear a fiery take? Super hot, spicy. Okay.
Let's hear. Lay it on me, Wick.
Sure. If the Democratic banned all DSA members or anything approaching DSA, we would win more. We would gain more votes than we lose.
Stop.
We
Are
would.
you for
We would
real?
absolutely gain more votes than we lose by exiling
But
every
hold on.
single
You acknowledge
socialist
that we
from the
will
party.
lose some, right?
We'll lose a few, but for every one we lose, we'll gain 10 more. So I'm willing and eager, actually, to get rid of those 1 to gain the 10.
Oh,
$2
It's
from
just
MetaWorks to say this is why Cuomo lost. He had too much baggage.
Well, I mean, baggage is putting that lightly for sure. I don't know if there's a political candidate with his baggage other than like actual Trumpists. Like he was kind of the only. I don't know. He was probably the most controversial politician outside of MAGA. I don't think that's I think that's an extremely fair thing to say, but yeah. Anyway,
thanks for coming, man. I know it's a little past the 8 o'clock I said.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you for coming in. Can you tell people where they can find you if they want to find you?
I'm
any final thoughts?
Staxiums everywhere. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on really anywhere you would think. I will sometimes occasionally post, but I'm very prominent on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. TikTok probably the biggest one. So thanks for having me, Wick. Even though you are sometimes egregiously narrow-minded, but I love you nonetheless.
So thank you for coming. I do love you too, brother. I do appreciate you. Yes, I am razor focused, relentlessly, some might say ruthlessly focused on fucking winning. Okay,
Which is
That's
affordability issues, right?
true. Okay, but I'll talk to you later, buddy. Okay.
All right, much love. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to have Staxiums on. I do like Staxiums. He's one of the people I've actually met in real life. You guys know that? Titanium Marvel says Charlie Kirk's Gatekeeper to Heaven rocks. But yeah, it's one of those things where Like, there are segments of the Democratic Party who value their ideology over actually winning elections. And to an extent, like, look, I would rather lose an election than do certain things. So I get that to an extent, right? So I would never, like, cheat to win, okay? I think if I have to cheat to win, I don't deserve to win, right? So what I mean by cheating is, like, stuffing ballot boxes, all that shit, right? I would never do that, okay? I also don't think that there's, like, I would never do anything, like, I don't know, anything explicitly illegal to win. That's an easy line, okay? And I think that if we have to do that to win, we just can't win. That being said, I'm okay with doing pretty much whatever else it takes to win. And I think that we have data on what the country wants. We have data on what type of candidate performs better than another type of candidate. And my only advocacy is to use that data. Like, run the candidate that is most likely to win. Even if you think you got it in the bag. Even if you think, oh, this is just a runaway thing. Because you never know what the vagaries and winds of fortunes will bring. And what you think will be a 10-point blowout ends up being a 2-point nail biter, right? What we want is a lot of cushion for bad shit, okay? We want a lot of cushion so that if something comes out or some political winds shift, we still have a margin of victory, right, that we can actually rely on. And I think that when it comes to red districts, I think that we should, Ezra Klein advocated, right, for removing political litmus tests. If we want to be competitive, and I agree with him, and if we want to be competitive in places like Tennessee, in places like Alabama, in places like Georgia, etc., we have to start removing political litmus tests. Here's the thing. In the Deep South, think about running a candidate that's pro-life, a Democrat pro-life candidate. If they can win, why not? Why be a single issue voter, right? Or a single issue thing, right? If they're going to vote for us or with us 80, 90% of the time, and they need to vote against us at 10% of the time, let them, right? This is what I mean by having a ruthless focus on actually winning elections, okay? I'm willing to say, hey, I don't agree with all your stances, but I recognize that you are the best candidate to run in this district, right? Because you have the best chance of winning. And if you win, it means that the Republicans and MAGA lose. And the MAGA has less ability to wreak havoc on our political system. And if what you're saying is I would rather MAGA win than have a Democrat that isn't 100% ideologically pure, then you just don't care about winning enough. You don't care about defeating MAGA enough. You don't. You value your ideological purity over actual victory. Now, obviously, if the candidate has murdered 10 people or something, okay, obviously, that's different. But if they say, like, hey, man, I just can't vote against gun rights in this district, ever. Okay, sure. That's what you need to do, bro. That's what you need to do. Keep your seat. Let's keep it blue. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You guys want to win? You'll do this. You'll do it my way. You guys want to lose? Go ahead and do it your way. That's all I'm saying. I want to win. Anything else? Anyone else got any other things for me before we end the show? What do we got coming up? Okay, so tomorrow I'm having a conversation with a gentleman about birthright citizenship and the 14th Amendment. My position is not only is birthright citizenship guaranteed by the 14th Amendment, but it's also good for our country. And I'll be arguing that tomorrow. Should be a fun discussion. Tune in, 6 p.m. Eastern. On Wednesday, we're having a debate panel on religious bias in higher education. Does it exist? And if it does, is it bad? Should we be religiously biased, right, in higher education? It's going to be a fun discussion. We're going to have Erudite on that one. Tune in. And then on Thursday, we're having a debate on the Venezuelan boat strikes. Not only about their legality, but their necessity and morality. We're going to have Doobie on that one. We're going to have a few others. Should be fun times. Tune in. I hope you do. It should be great. Great content. But yeah, if you want to support this channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Send me some super chats. $2 from Cameraman502 to say, next call and show my hot take, privatize the ADC. Air traffic controls? Is that air traffic controllers? Is that who you're talking about? Is that the acronym? If you're watching this on Twitch, hit that follow button, send me some gift subs. All those things really help the channel, helps keeps the lights on. Yeah. Okay. On that note, let's right into Prime Kai. Let's give him a shout. Let him know this is a hate raid, and I will see you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Bye.